Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
I need to talk a little sports with you, Ags. David Nuño here with TexAgs Radio. Billy Lucci here on TexAgs Radio. Olin Buchanan.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
The best way for us to win is to do it together.
Do you realize everybody knows who you are right now?
Very thankful for 12th man. They've won us games.
Been in college baseball for a while now, but I've never experienced anything like 12th man.
That's about as pretty a throw-catch combo as there is.
I saw the safety roll, the slot fade. I knew where I needed to put the ball.
Our skill set worked great together. Like, he was more speed and I was more power, and then we put together, it was like thunder and lightning, you know.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Hi, OB.
Hey.
We're on the radio.
Okay.
So it's weird. I walk in today.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people are taking pictures of me. Mm-hmm. They're following me. I really felt like paparazzi was here. Like, I feel like...
Who's dead?
Papa.
Oh, Papa.
Paparazzi. Okay. No, I don't know why they're taking pictures of me, OB. I wonder what it... Oh, just broke my headphones. I wonder what it is.
Well, it's not like they're never taking pictures of you
this
before.
This is true. It's usually on the show Cops.
Usually when you're not, you know... I see you're wearing a different jersey. Usually when they're taking pictures, you're just, you know, probably shirtless and flexing.
I have done that in the last 24 hours.
And Luke Evangelist comes over and oils you up, you know.
No, he's not. No, this just got gross. No dude's ever oiled me up, all right? I don't even think I've ever been oiled
Luke
up.
Evangelist.
Let me just start the show over. Hey, everybody. Welcome into TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by the who?
by the warehouse at CC Creations.
And I am right now, everybody needs to go to KBTX CW or to YouTube or TexAgs page or TexAgs.com. If you're listening on the zone, just do doubles, right? Just go back and back. You can see I'm wearing the black alternate jersey. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't know when they're going to wear it. No. We just know they're going to wear it. And you can buy it at Maroon U, by the way. Go to the website or go to the store right down the street, by the way. I like it.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's not a sharp look. It is a sharp look. Sharp look.
I'm used to shirts being a little tighter, OB, as you know, typically.
Yeah.
That's the, you know.
I'm sure that means you'll put in an extra half hour at the gym today.
Yeah, no, an hour.
Try to fill it out.
Shamar Stewart and Shamar Turner could fill this out without their shoulder pads for sure.
We're giving another week or two, and we'll be you'll come in here, we'll be saying, here's Shadavid Nuño.
Well, if you haven't seen it, just go to the website, obviously Maroon U, or come to TexAgs.com right now and check it out. I like it, and I will say, not that I'm a fabric connoisseur, but it's cool. You know, sometimes you put on jerseys, they're like hot.
Is that why they got all the holes in it? You know, it's for the ventilation and all?
It's for the vent.
But it feels good.
It feels good. Saying. Yeah, like Tony. It feels really good.
All right.
You know what that means?
No.
I didn't think so. It's a 1980s song. Anyway, check it out. I like it. I'm going to be wearing it throughout the show, and hopefully you guys go support it. And whenever they do, you got a joke, don't you?
No, I really don't.
I see your face.
I really don't.
The oil me down by Luke Evangelist was a low blow, buddy. Have you seen his hair? I'm not allowing that dude. Not going to do that. Anyway, all right, let's get back on track. But check it out. I like
things are going crazy around here, you know.
Tell me what.
A&M jerseys are black. Luke Evangelist's hair is blonde. It's kind of like a bizarro world.
I'm not wearing a tight shirt.
You're not wearing a tight shirt? What's going on?
Nick Evangelist is happy. Nick Savage is happy.
Nick Savage is not in a bad mood.
It's great.
Know?
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk some football
Kay
this
Nagley's
morning.
Being nice.
She's always nice.
Yeah, to you.
Well, this is true. All right. Ceiling and floor, OB. Can we talk a little ceiling and floor? We actually did this for other SEC teams. Max Olson of ESPN today, there's a column out about the top 25 teams and their ceilings and their floors. What do you think he has as A&M's ceiling? What do you think he has as A&M's floor?
Floor is probably 6-6. Ceiling is probably 10-2.
You are pretty good. Pretty good.
Is that it?
No, but it's close. Ceiling, 10-2.
7-5.
No.
Oh, 5-7.
Yeah. I don't believe that.
I don't either.
But the 10-2, he goes, you couldn't draw up a more fascinating matchup for Mike Elko, his debut at Texas A&M. A fighting Irish team with serious CFP expectations, led by Elko's former Duke quarterback Riley Leonard, coming to College Station for a primetime showdown at Kyle Field. This is as good as it gets for a signature victory opportunity for kickoff of the new era of Aggie football.
Yeah, it's exciting start. I can hardly wait.
Yeah.
Just 16 more days.
So when I think about, to me, look, Homer, black uniform, whatever, like maroon goggles, I think the ceiling is higher than 10-2. My ceiling
is 12-0.
Right.
Now they're saying, do you realistically think that there's a scenario in which A&M goes 12-0? And the answer would be unlikely, but yeah, because the four toughest games are at Kyle Field.
Yeah. We're not saying we think they're going to go 12-0.
No.
What we're saying is, if you believe they can beat Notre Dame on game one, if you believe that, and by the way, Vegas thinks that they can, then why wouldn't they be able to beat Texas? Why wouldn't they be able to beat Missouri, who just lost somebody on their, who was it, their defensive end?
Defensive line,
defensive line.
Guy from Georgia.
Look, I'm not suggesting they should beat these teams or will beat these. What I'm saying is, if we're talking about ceiling, if you think they can win the first game, they can win much more.
Yeah, I would think in most cases, or in fact, all but just a precious few, I'd put the ceiling on everybody at 11-1 because it's so rare that somebody goes undefeated. But so if I was gonna, be like, okay, serious about it and say, okay, the absolute best ceiling, I'd say 11-1, and that's not an indictment on what A&M could or could not be. It's just that it's so rare for a team to go undefeated, especially now as college football is changing.
Changing landscape of college football. Yeah, I agree. My whole thing is, and again, I don't think they're going to go 12-0. Please don't. And I don't even think that's the right ceiling. I think the ceiling 10-2 sounds right.
To me, that's very
that sounds
reasonable.
Right. But I also can tell you, if you think they can beat Notre Dame, you think they can beat Missouri. Now, here's the big question: it's not the home games are very difficult, and to go undefeated in that home game stretch is going to be very difficult. We know that. But we also know that the most important thing, not the most important thing, a very important thing is, can they win on the road against the teams that they should beat?
Absolutely. I don't know that there's a road game that they shouldn't win. That doesn't mean we take any of them for granted, especially the Florida game, and especially Mississippi State, because of all the things we've seen at Mississippi in Starkville, and quite frankly, even Arkansas. When was the last time they played Arkansas in Dallas that you had a comfortable win? Don't even say last year, because that was getting kind of tight until they got the pick six or until Anias returned that punt.
You're right.
So that game's never easy.
Anyway, when I look at this A&M team, I have as many questions as all the national pundits do too. I still have those same questions. I just feel better about where I was a year ago, just about those. And by the way, a year ago, I thought it was going to be a nice season.
I did too. And it almost was.
I had 8-4 last year.
Well,
my
we
thought.
really thought that we were led to believe that Bobby Petrino was going to have more of an impact on the offense than he was allowed to have.
Yeah.
And, I kind of thought that, especially early, that A&M's defense was playing with one hand tied behind its back, and it was, unfortunately, it was its defensive coordinator that tied it. But because remember, it was after the Miami game, even Jimbo said, I told him we have to affect the quarterback and start rushing the passer, which Dipstick didn't want to do.
Anyway, now I got a follow-up question about that.
Yeah.
Which top 10 teams do you think end the season not ranked? And there's a method to my madness, because unfortunately CBS Sports has an article about this, and it shows the last 10 teams that finished unranked coming in as a top 10 team. And lo and behold, A&M's on that list a couple of times.
Yeah. I can remember twice they ranked sixth.
They're on there twice.
I don't ever want A&M to be ranked sixth again, by the way. The year they, in 2014, they went to Mississippi State, undefeated, ranked 6th.
That's right.
Got beat. So the teams that are likely not to be ranked at all, that are in the top 10, I would say
that you could see a scenario where that's the case.
Well, quite frankly, Ole Miss.
You could see a scenario where Ole Miss is not ranked at the end of the year.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's Florida State, I think, is a possibility there. Penn State's a possibility. Heck, even Notre Dame's a possibility.
I think Notre Dame's a possibility. I'm not predicting that to be the case.
Right.
But
if I had to pick, set odds, the reason I come out and say Ole Miss, I go back.
I think Michigan's one of them too, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think probably. So basically what we just mentioned is everybody from 6 to 10.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you one that's going to surprise you per CBS Sports.
Alabama?
Well, they're on there, but that's not the one I'm thinking of right now.
Texas?
Yeah. Well,
here's the deal with Texas. If they were playing Oklahoma's schedule or Florida's,
then I would say yeah.
I would agree. But the thing, but here's I'm sure the thinking about Texas is some of the things we've already talked about. They were bad. They weren't very good against the pass last year. Okay, are they significantly better? I know they brought in a guy from Clemson and whatnot, but really, are they significantly better? They had the 2 big warhorse defensive tackles that just shut down the run last year. Well, those guys are in
Brian Murphy.
Yeah, those guys are in the NFL now.
Yep.
You brought in some transfers, but are they going to be first and second round picks? Probably not. Are they going to be as good there? Probably not. You still have Quinn Ewers, but you just lost your starting running back
and your third string running back.
And the third string running back. And, oh, by the way, you lost a number 1, a first-round draft choice at receiver, and a second-round draft choice at receiver that were highly productive. Now, you brought in the guy from Alabama that caught the gravedigger pass, Isaiah Bond. Good player. But are we ready to say he's as good as the guys you had before? So you take all those guys that they had last year, and then you say, well, you barely beat Houston. You barely beat Kansas State. I think you struggled with TCU. You were tied in the fourth quarter with Wyoming having a backup quarterback.
Yes, sir.
So, again, in the SEC, when you get in those close games, are you going to be able to escape them?
So what it says here, Texas rode an elite defense. It's everything you just said, by the way, but a little bit more to add. Texas rode an elite defense. Why did I miss it? And explosive skill talent to the college football playoff. Almost every player from those 2 phases are gone. It goes on to say, plus an SEC schedule is much more difficult now. Games against number 1 Georgia, number 9 Michigan, number 16 Oklahoma, and number 20 Texas A&M are extremely losable. Texas went 4-10 in one-score games in Steve Sarkisian's first 2 seasons last year. The Longhorns went 3-2 in such contests.
Yeah, so
that's why. Again, they're not predicting it's going to happen. They're just saying if you were to look at likely teams, that would be a scenario. As for Alabama, the ingredients for a championship team are here, but so are the ingredients for a collapse as Kalen DeBoer gets his first taste of SEC football. The Tide, in theory, could start 2-2 as their first 2 games of September are at Wisconsin. They're not losing that.
They're not losing that.
And versus Georgia. October tilts against Tennessee and Missouri.
And Tennessee is a rival game. Missouri, they probably don't lose that one. But the fact of the matter is Alabama was on the brink of losing several games last year. A&M, South Florida, Auburn.
Look, I'm going to say it was a masterful job from Nick Saban to get that team in the playoffs because we all thought they were going to be bad last year, right? I mean, when I say bad, for Alabama standards, bad.
We thought they were more vulnerable than usual.
We thought they were maybe a 9-win, 8-win team, at least when the season started.
And they almost were.
And they almost were.
And so DeBoer's a really good coach. Is he Nick Saban? Okay, maybe the drop-off's not too significant, but I just talked about Bond leaving. What are the receivers like? I know that they're supposed to have a really good offensive line. Okay, I hear that every year. Caleb Downs left for Ohio State.
Yep.
Look at the guys that left. Who's the big walloping pass rusher now?
You're right.
I mean, somebody will show up.
Somebody,
we didn't know that Quinnen Williams was going to be the best defensive lineman in the country. until he became at that scene, because he had not been that dominant player before. So somebody could, but still, you look at the guys they lost, not just through the draft, but through the transfer portal, and say, okay, are these guys really going to be as good?
Let me give you one more.
Okay.
Notre Dame, according to the CBS.
Yeah, I'm not buying it just because of the schedule, but go on.
But I'm going to read what it says. Obviously, the A&M game, it's going to set them down a path that they would have to almost win out. I think they could afford one more loss, but they don't almost have to win out if they lose the A&M game. But it says here, other potential losses on the schedule. Louisville, September 28th.
Lost to them last year.
At Georgia Tech. They're not losing that game. And USC, November 30th.
Yeah, I guess. It's on the road because it's in November. I'm not a big believer in USC either. So,
Miller Moss.
Miller Moss.
God, that's a great name, bro. It's a great
Miller
name.
Moss.
It really is when you think about it, it's a good name. It would be a great character like on an undercover spy show. Miller Moss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Sorry, let's get back on football.
Yeah. So, but look at Ole Miss, quite frankly, and if you could look at last year and how many games they escaped. A&M. Remember the LSU loss? The ball glanced off the LSU guy's hand, and I'm saying now they're going to be so much better on defense. Why? Because of Walter Nolan and Prince, the guy whose name from Maynard, whose name I can't pronounce.
Prince.
Just Prince.
He's just got a symbol now. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Since he went to Ole Miss, he's got the symbol.
He's going to be a Purple Rain.
Moss. Sorry.
But what if all the games don't fall Ole Miss's way this year? I'm not saying that they're going to have a bad year, but what if some of those close wins turn out to be close losses and they're 8-4?
They're not on this list. You know who is on this list, according to CBS Sports?
Florida State.
Florida State. They lost a lot of people, and they're expecting DJU to save them.
Yeah.
Ugalulele.
DJ Ugalele. Yeah, and again, I know I'm a broken record when I say this. I don't think putting up big numbers as a quarterback last year in the Pac-12 necessarily means you have arrived as a quarterback. Everybody put up big numbers as a quarterback in the Pac-12.
100%. Should we say hi to the people?
Let's do.
By the way, this is Coffee Talk, and OB loves coffee, presented by TexAgs Coffee. Beat the hell out of the mornings by going to texags.com/coffee. Call the show. Text the show, 979-693-1150. If you do call us, we'll pick it up on the Boss Firearms hotline. Boss Firearms provides high-quality firearms and components to their civilian and law enforcement customer base. See what they've got for yourself at bossfirearms.com. We go behind the glass. We say hi to Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Incorrect. You are saying hi to Cade Bickham. That's my bad. I should have let you know.
I think Nick told me like a week ago, but I just don't remember things.
It's all right. It's most Thursdays. Well,
Cade, you told me I looked very nice today. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. You got the jersey on, the Jays. It's a solid fit. It's a solid fit.
Obi's thinking of a joke to come up
No,
with. I can see it. I feel it.
It's a solid fit.
Yeah.
Solid fit.
I wear the black alternates. You wear the black undershirt.
I did today.
Yeah. It's a good shirt.
I ran this morning and I was
sweaty.
Even after you shower, you're still sweaty.
I hate that feeling.
So when
you take a hot shower or a cold shower?
It started out hot and it became cold.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a hot shower guy, and I always regret it afterwards if I've been doing some physical fitness.
So,
Cade, would you like to provide a commentary or a thought to start off the show?
Yes, I would actually. So you guys were talking about top 10 teams most likely to finish the season unranked. I think the go-to no-brainer answer for me is Penn State. What have they done in the last 3 or 4 years to prove to you that they are going to be at the upper echelon of the Big Ten?
I don't think you have to be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten.
I agree with that, but they don't win big games in recent memory, at least off the top of my head. They don't win big games.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you the last 2 years, they've won 11 games and 10 games.
Oh well.
Okay, so
they lose to Ohio State and Michigan every time, and now you're adding Washington, you're adding Oregon, you're adding other teams.
I'm gonna give you
some
ammo. because the 2 years prior, they combined for 11 wins. So you have some ammo. But let me just give you a little James Franklin numbers. Will you? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, since 2016, 11-3. Oh, that's out of the top 25. 11-2. That's out of the top 25. 9-4. 11-2. Then in 2020, 4-5, 21, 7-6. Then 11-2 and 10-3. I don't think I agree with you, Kate. That's just me. OB?
Yeah, because we're saying
they're going to clip this if Penn State passes.
Yeah, well, they're saying that not in the top 25 at all.
Right.
So if you're 9-3,
you're in the top 25,
and maybe even 8-4, even though that would be at 25. But if you're 9-3, you're in, and I just don't see Penn State not being at least 9-3.
I got the team that nobody's thought. Oh, they're not in the top 10, so never mind. I had a team in the top 25 that I could see being in the top 10 at the end of the year or not ranked at all. And I'm not talking about A&M. I'm talking Miami. I could see a scenario where Miami wins the ACC. I could also see Mario Cristobal losing that first game against Florida and it just being a downward spiral. But that's not top 10. That was not the qualification.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think they're the biggest like hit or miss type of team this year. It really depends on if all the Cam Ward stats from Washington State do translate over.
Yes, sir. Let's do this. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Aggies gather at the Angry Elephant, and that's where you can get this black alternate uniform, or jersey, I should say. And before we bring on the evangelist that is known as Luke, I got to apologize to Luke. I do. I feel like I have to apologize.
Okay.
You keep looking at my number.
Number 12.
Yeah. But you're looking at it like there's a joke coming.
No.
Okay.
No.
Luke, I got to apologize to you because I am typically above making fun of people. Typically. Not always.
What?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm usually a responder. I'm usually not the instigator. I think that's fair. No?
No, not necessarily, no.
Okay. I'm just not on Billy and Bronny level of picking on.
Yeah.
Okay? But I have picked on you for your hair too many. I've made it a thing, and I need to move on from that. I am sorry. The hair doesn't look that bad. It just catches me off guard.
No, it's okay.
No, I apologize.
Thank you. I accept your apology.
Well,
but
it looks like a wig at the moment.
I would acknowledge
it
if he would, what you're saying, if he would bleach the mustache as well.
I don't think I'm doing all that. But can I just address the allegations? First of all, I'm not oiling anybody
I
up.
think whenever we have Luke on and when we go to him, we should play that old Houston Oilers song in the background.
Houston Oilers?
Even though he's from Dallas. Yeah. You know, if we go to Luke Evangelist, Houston Oilers, Houston.
I don't know that song.
Or something from Greece.
Greece. No, but let me tell you why it looks like a wig. Okay,
yeah, let's hear it. David Nuño, noted hair expert. Let's hear it.
Except for one spot on my head, I'm very good with the hair department.
For now,
yeah. But by the way, that's been there for years.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's, what do you call it? The roots are so black.
Yeah.
That it looks like he's got a wig covering his hair. That's the why behind it.
Yes.
You have black roots, like my jersey.
So the thing is, I'm just trying to do my best
I see a lot of that
Kay
going on at
Nagley
TexAgs.
impression.
There you go.
The thing is,
low. That's low.
No.
That is low.
No, you know, Kay and I dressed up as each other for Halloween last year, and I'm just getting a jump on my Kay Nagley outfit for this year.
Well, I am sorry, okay?
I don't think
he looks like the lunch lady that has the thing over it. I feel bad.
I just don't think Kay's mustache is that dark.
Okay. I'm getting out of this one. Can you give us any news, please?
Yeah,
Get
I'll give
this
you
show
some
back
news.
on track.
You're wearing the new black alternate uniform. You would have to go back to 2018 to find the last time that Texas A&M football unveiled a new uniform. That was the 1998 throwbacks that they wore against Kentucky when they beat a top 15 Kentucky. The only time since then that A&M wore something out of their ordinary uniforms was when they did maroon on maroon against Abilene Christian last year.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
No, I didn't mean that rudely. I'm sorry. I liked
Interesting.
it. I did like that uniform, actually. Maroon
It sure seems to me they, like maybe in 2012 or 13, it seems to me they wore black. Was it against Mississippi State?
Might have been.
Maybe against Mississippi State in 2012. I have to look at it. Maybe they wore black that day. Maybe not.
Yes, that's true.
I can't remember,
Thank you, God.
So many things that happened yesterday, but I can pull that one out of thin air.
One more, Luke, because we're so late. Oh, no. In fact, hold that
We're
thought.
always late.
Okay.
No, we're more late than usual today. We had the The alternate uniform dialogue.
So you're going to make us later?
Was that?
You're going to make us later.
Yeah. We had mustache and wig talk. This is why people tune in and tune out all at the same time. What did they say? Oh, I'm turning this. Right now, career opportunities at the Association of Former Students, where you can bleach your hair and work and have a good time. If you are looking for a reason to move to Aggieland, or you're looking for just a fresh start, you should look at the Association of Former Students. They're seeking to hire professionals on many of their teams there. You have marketing, you have fundraising, a lot of different departments are looking to add folks. They are the premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting A&M in support of that Aggie network, and they play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Ring Day, class reunions, Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining a team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It's the Association of Former Students. And has the Oilers, the greatest
has
football
Luka Evangelist.
team. We kicked the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. The most singing I've done on radio. Keep the song going.
But I'm sure that was a great time for you.
It was well, I think it came out before I was born.
Luke Evangelist.
But I played this all the time.
Luke Evangelist.
Not number one.
Didn't you just say you were going to be better about not
I'll talk about the Oilers, bro.
Oh, okay.
Why we got to always make it about you?
Oh, please.
I was talking about the Oilers.
Right.
I made that joke yesterday. They weren't number one. Go back and listen.
Okay.
All right? And then I want you to critique the Tom Hart interview.
I wonder if the Edmonton Oilers ever borrowed that.
That's a good question.
Probably not.
They've been number one before.
Many times.
Yeah. Hey, it's TexAgs Radio. We're way late. Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, Go Wire, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. It is now time for 24 and 24. Number 7 is actually not that jersey number, by the way. At FBS Appliance, they're committed to delivering an exceptional experience from start to finish. You can trust them to provide unparalleled service and support every step of the way because FBS Appliance is your trusted appliance store. Visit any of their 8 showrooms across Texas and find them online at factorybuilderstores.com. And number 7, OB, is
what I consider the best Moss in the country. No offense to Miller, but Le'Veon Moss.
Le'Veon Moss. Baton Rouge's finest.
Yeah.
They all wanted him. Alabama wanted him. LSU wanted him. A&M got him.
A&M gathered the Moss.
They did. Good job.
Yeah. So,
look, I don't want to talk about Ruben here because it's about Le'Veon, but his importance obviously is much bigger now that Ruben, it was going to be big anyway. It was going to be huge this year, but obviously of greater importance now.
Look at that. Le'Veon Moss averaged 5 yards a carry last season behind a suspect offensive line and a suspect system, right?
Yep.
I can remember a game against a carry against Arkansas. I think it was a 3rd and 1 or something like that. He gets the ball going off toward right tackle, and you look up and there's somebody from Arkansas in the backfield with him. And Le'Veon's a big guy, and he spins off the tackle and turns it into a big first down. And I think that might have been toward the end of the half when he went and scored. He's more agile than you think. He's a big guy, so he can run with power. He doesn't have lightning speed, but he's got speed. He has breakaway speed. I mean, he can, I would say something stupid like he's no A-chain. Well, who is? But he's fast enough to make a big play. He's got power. I think he runs with an attitude, and he has more elusivity, if that's a word.
I like that.
I don't know if it's a really word, but I like that. But than you might expect. So, but mainly, he just runs with that power, like a boulder. You ever see the Indiana Jones thing and the boulders
coming in,
and it's just you can't stop it?
Did you know Harrison Ford was that fast?
I
fast,
didn't.
Man. He beat that rock.
But that Rolling Stone, that will gather the moss.
Yeah.
Running like that. I did all that to try to set up a joke that didn't work.
That didn't work.
But Le'Veon Moss works.
He does work.
He's a workhorse.
When I watch him run, I see an NFL running back. He looks like an NFL running back, the way he hits the holes, the way he runs up high, the way he can cut, the way he makes his pivots. Pivot's not the right word. His cuts, bottom line. He is a guy that I expect, even before the injury, to have I think I called for it on this show, maybe 2 guys with 1,000 yards this year. And I thought he'd be one. Obviously, he'd be one of them.
Well, the thing about Le'Veon, you're not going to arm tackle him, right? So you better get body on him because if he's running like we saw it against Arkansas and a lot of teams, if he's running and he's got his full speed on him and you reach out to tackle, he's going to go through that like it's a turnstile. So I think we were all anticipating. You referenced the Owens injury. We're all anticipating Le'Veon was going to be the start running back anyway.
Yeah.
So he has a huge role. We knew that. It's just becomes more vital.
Let's hit a break here. We're going to have Stephen McGee on, who's already in the building when we come back. Dave and Edmund just watched Iron Claw for the first time last night. Nuño, you need to get Kevin Von Erich on the show. Maybe he's still in the Dallas area. Would be an excellent interview.
You already did that last year.
Someone want to tell him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I already had him.
But maybe he can come. Maybe he'll come back.
Yeah.
And talk about how much he liked
Dave and Edmund, who not only texts every 9 minutes, listens to everything we do. How do you not know that, bro?
Hey, but
We love you, Dave.
Everybody can have a mulligan.
He's had a lot of mulligans.
But he's always
Apparently
there.
somebody keeps blocking him on the text line. It's not me.
He's always there, though.
He is always there. He's there. He's everywhere.
We appreciate that.
Like Rollo Insurance. You know they're everywhere?
No, they're everywhere.
In Texas alone?
It sounds like they've been following me. They're in Tyler, Bryan College Station,
Yeah.
Austin.
More.
You know, I don't know if they're in Nashville.
I don't know about that either, but they're in Dallas.
But they're Dallas, where
they're in West Texas.
West Texas.
I know they're in Utah.
I've never lived there, but I've been to Utah.
But I know they're there.
Nice
They're
state.
everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right. They're the official insurance provider, by the way, of TexAgs Radio. The difference is real. They can take care of your car insurance, your homeowner's insurance. If you're a farmer, a rancher, a hobby farmer, a business owner, they want to be the ones to take care of you. They'll do the shopping for you so you can accomplish your insurance goals. If you haven't thought about your insurance goals, talk to them about it. They can kind of help formulate a plan for you. Their priorities are God, family, and country. They are so good at what they do. Go check them out. The headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO, or go to ROLLOinsurance.com. That's 888-44-ROLLO, ROLLOinsurance.com. Put it on them.
Oh my God. I want to go watch it.
So, should we set this up? RQB1 Paragon Financial Stephen McGee is here with us on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. You come into studio, the Rollo Insurance Studio, by the way, and you make a comment about
Dumb and Dumber.
You said only 2 people in the back have watched it.
Yeah.
I followed up with, I haven't watched it. I apologize. I should, but I'm not a Jim Carrey guy. Then you guys start reliving some of the best moments.
And there's
so many great
so
ones.
Funny.
And yeah, we mental doc. Like of course we agreed on this. Like it's a great movie. Anybody that hasn't seen Dumb and Dumber is really
dumb.
missed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like
dumb. I recognize that I've missed out. And I almost feel like if I watch it now, there's certain movies you have to watch it at that time, and then it's still funny later. But if you my kids watch the first Star Wars, they're like, Dad, the graphics suck. Like, I can't watch this. Like you have
Dumb and Dumber is timeless.
Is it?
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to tell you, but could there have been a better ending to just sum up what the whole movie is about? The ending was amazing. The ending was so perfect.
I don't know what happened. Like Sopranos-esque?
Oh, no, because Sopranos left you going, what just happened? No. There may, in the context of what the movie and what it was about, there may not have been a better ending in cinematographic history.
I agree.
Completely encapsulate what the movie's about. Perfectly. Perfect.
I will watch it
You know
day.
what? And if anybody would appreciate it, it would have been Luke Evangelist.
Yeah. And you haven't seen it, right, Luke?
No, I have.
Okay.
I loved it. I've been laughing along with y'all.
Okay.
What are the chances of a girl like me and a guy like you? 1 in a million? So you're telling me there's a chance?
That line I know. That one I know. What other movie makes you laugh like that?
Oh, man.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder is so good.
Makes me laugh. Something About Mary makes me laugh hard.
We were talking about some
Trading Places.
Trading Places is fantastic.
Yeah.
See, I've watched movies.
Wedding Crashers.
Wedding
Old
Crashers
School.
is great.
That was some of my college.
Yeah.
Those are the movies that came out whenever I was in school.
Yeah. Those was.
Your Road Trip, was that good? I'm trying to think. There was one of those movies where they went out of the country.
Road Trip was pretty good. Super Troopers.
Super Troopers is great. Yep.
Yeah. Pull over. I can't pull over anymore. I am pulled over.
Overrated? Golden Child. I don't think it was that good. Was it even funny?
What, that Eddie Murphy movie?
Yeah.
No.
Have you ever watched Grandma's Boy?
I don't think I've watched that.
That was the one I expected no one to have heard of. It was like a really dumb.
I will say this, and this will not surprise you, but I actually laughed. I was 18 when I saw it. I actually laughed. The first time I realized you could actually really laugh till you cry. This is the Vance was trying to be funny. Caddyshack.
Yeah.
I literally laughed till I cried at the Baby Ruth scene.
Yes.
I mean, tears were coming out of my eyes. I didn't know it was really possible. I thought it was a cliche. It happened. And then when Bill Murray is cleaning the pool and he eats he says, that's not so bad. And he eats the Baby Ruth and the lady faints. I lost all composure.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, anybody?
That's all right.
Office Space?
Humorous.
Office Space. I watched that recently. So good. All right, talk some football. Notre Dame is getting a Hard Knocks type of show. I think they've done that before, but it's coming out, and A&M is going to be featured prominently, I would assume, because it's happening right now. Is that a good thing, a distraction for a program like Notre Dame that's used to being on TV all the time? What do you think?
I always used to think that Hard Knocks was a distraction for the team that had it. I know it was in Dallas the year before I got there, and everyone always talked negatively about Hard Knocks. And all the cameras there, and it's just it's a pain for everybody. But now as I look at Hard Knocks, I really think that they've done a phenomenal job of making the NFL, they kind of take the helmet off a lot of these players and make them more personable, because a lot of fans don't get to really know their superstars. Last year, Aaron Rodgers, this year you have Caleb Williams. I mean, you get to know the Bears.
Yep.
That's a team I would have never really cared about. And it's fun getting to go behind the scenes. So I think it's really good for the teams that get featured. Does it help that football team win games that year? I doubt it. I mean, what are the records of teams that have been featured on Hard Knocks in the year after?
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Not very good.
But I know this. Didn't ESPN once do something like that with A&M?
Probably did. Probably
with when Dino Babers was the offensive coordinator, and I think Mark Ferris was the quarterback, and I think they.
I didn't know that.
somebody listen will know if I'm way off or if there was some truth to that.
So I was at Texans camp when Hard Knocks visited them, and you really forget that they're there. They're all over the place, but you forget they just become. And of course, JJ would go run at 4 a.m. and make sure the cameras were there. It was great.
He's great at that.
That's JJ though. Like he actually probably was really going to go work out, but he let them know he's going to be there, right? But you do forget that they're there, and they pick up conversations. Like even from media members are like, we're making fun of somebody like Olin, and they hear you. Like it can get a little interesting.
Yeah, it does. They do a good job of it though. I mean, they piece it all together. And who's the guy that the voice on the?
Isn't that Liv Schreiber from the Wolverine
phenomenal.
movies? And
he's really, really good. I enjoyed. I don't know if y'all watched any of the Hard Knocks this year.
I watched the GM version that they did for the draft. That was awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I really liked the Giants coach. What's his name?
Daboll.
Brian Daboll.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. Okay, so
he's a
that's
different
where
human.
I was going with.
Yeah.
So at the end of the draft, right, which is what, April?
Yeah.
He is a big fella, right? The picture most recently, it came out in July.
Well, he went from Broniger to Zane?
Yes. Pretty much.
And he said the best part of it was they all asked if he was doing like the shot, like the Ozempic deal. And he said, no, he's doing the Pilates. They're in a Pilates class in America that in 3 months you can go from.
No, that's impossible. No, he did something. If
Maybe
not Ozempic, he did
Look up the quote.
The little stomach thing where they like clip your stomach and eat it in half. I'm gonna look it up. You talk for a second. Dable.
That was my takeaway from the offseason Hard Knocks. But it was a good show. I enjoyed it as well. Hard Knocks now, Caleb Williams and who's the head coach there?
Is it still Eberflus?
Eberflus, because he was the linebacker coach.
See, I think right there,
really
I think you can't win with a coach named Eberflus.
Probably right.
Okay, yeah. He lost 50 pounds taking the Giants job, but then gained 20. Weight loss was initially prompted by an in-house bet. Tony Grossi reported that Dayball's previous unhealthy habits, yada, yada, yada. He drew attention to health and fitness by doing some Pilates.
Are you buying or are you selling that?
You know what? When I first moved here, I lost like 15 pounds in 6 weeks. But it was because I couldn't afford to eat.
Oh, my God.
Seriously, I was sending a check back to Irma every month to pay that. So I was living on one check. So I was eating salad for dinner literally 4 nights a week. So I lost a lot of weight.
Salad with no dressing or just the lettuce?
It was some lettuce and some chicken that you would get in, and it comes. You put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
And you put like 4 strips, and that was my dinner every night.
We're late for a break.
Oh, here we go again.
We've done Dumb and Dumber and fat loss. Right. One quick football question, so I can get some football in here. At this point of camp, what's happening? We're still far away from game week. Not far away, but a week and a half from game week. What is happening now?
I think they probably have a pretty strong feel now of who are going to be the key contributors and the starters that they're really going to be pitting on. I would imagine you're going to start having announcements of like this guy is going to be probably come out sooner than later if they haven't already with Connor, make it a formality. But you're really game planning around the strengths of your football team and who are going to be, what are you going to be able to do and what are you not going to be able to do? And then how comfortable are the guys implementing this new system? Are you going to have a scaled back playbook week 1 or not? So
right.
I would say the first thing is going to be some announcements on who's starting at certain positions.
All right, let's hit a break. By the way, Chase in Houston says 2001 Sidelines. Madden says it as well. That's the name of the show, Sidelines.
Okay.
Nice.
Right. We'll come back with more, a little buy, sell, leases, TexAgs Radio.
That's it.
It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio Go Hour, presented by the warehouse at CC Creations, where you can get this black alternate uniform. Steven, I have a buy-sell lease that unfortunately is not a football-related one, only based on a text message you sent me a couple days ago. Okay. All right? I want you, and I want OB to play this game. Buy-sell lease. If you're at a beach or anywhere tropical, what would you listen to? All right? Buy-sell lease, Jimmy Buffett, Bad Bunny, or Luke Bryan, One Margarita. Buy, sell,
Man, I hate to do this to you. So I played some bad. Going. I played some Bad Bunny on the golf course. It came across on my Spotify, so I played it in honor of Nuño. It was actually on hole 18. It came through for us because we got the needed par to seal the deal, right? But I took a screenshot and I sent it to him. But I got to sell him, man. I got to sell Bad Bunny. Jimmy Buffett is going to be my lease, and my buy is going to be Luke Bryan.
You're going to buy that? I like a great song.
I like the country music.
Well,
I know what OB is.
I'm buying Jimmy Buffett. I'm a parrot head still. I am leasing Luke Bryan.
And you're definitely selling Bad Bunny.
Because it's like bad hair, right?
Well,
hair.
I forget what you told me, though. The term was like, am I talking to Luke? Because I think you said it. Did you say it bops? Is that what you said?
I said it slaps.
It slaps.
No cap.
That's what you said.
I like to act cool. So I'll text my wife, like, no cap, babe.
So
no
that's
cap.
a good thing it slaps?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Okay. I know the no cap. Again, I got a son who's 20, and I've heard him say that. I haven't heard the slaps part.
There you go. You're welcome. Call him and be like, hey, I got this new shirt.
You know what? My son's actually coming home tonight because he's going to see, his mom's birthday was recently and he wasn't there, so he's going to say something. And I'm going to say, man, that slaps.
I can't wait.
He's going to say,
Irma's going to slap you. What?
Whenever I say, he always says, shut up, Dad. You're too old to say that. It's kind of like when you were saying I was too old to drink a Bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Cheeks. You see what I'm saying?
I have no idea.
Throw both of those on, both tonight. Just
that
random
was
conversation, but do your thing and have Irma video it for me, please.
So can you be slapped the cheeks?
They don't work well together, right? Right, Nuño?
It works well together.
It does, but not in the right context.
I've had my cheeks
it works
slapped.
well in real life, not in the English language.
I've had my cheeks slapped on multiple occasions.
In prison?
I've never been to prison.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to get a collect call from prison here in 3, 2, 1. All right, we have 1 minute left. Quick question. Big plays, product of your talent or your system?
Oof, both.
Yeah.
I would say if you look at Lane Kiffin, I think he's a guy that you'd point to that generates big plays with play calling. He's always got a little trick or two up his sleeve. But then there's no doubt you look at a school like LSU that has had unbelievable playmakers, and I think that you can point to a lot of talent in that regard. So I think it's a combination of both.
Agree.
Depends on who it is.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate you, buddy.
Enjoyed it.
All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back. Brian Kortan will be here in studio, talk a little men's golf. That, of course, your text messages at 979-693-1150. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And we're back on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Brian Kortan is in studio, men's golf coach. The chit-chat about the upcoming season, talk about the fall schedule, and some amateurs playing right now. Kortan, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm just checking out that jersey.
Isn't it nice?
That is nice.
So we go from talking about your hat to the jersey. Like, this is a fashion show.
Well, I mean, it can be for a short period.
So I don't rock a lot of hats because I'm not a big hat guy. I wear your hat all the time.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a great hat.
Our logo turned out really good.
How's the summer been?
Good. I mean, I've got, like you were saying, I've got some guys playing right now in the USAM. Doing a great job. They played this afternoon, so they're both made it to the match play. 312 guys down to 64.
P and Wheaton.
And P and Wheaton both made match play, and they won their first match, so they're in the final 32 players of the USAM. So, Sammy, that's where kind of Sammy became Sammy. So, a lot of opportunity there for them. They're excited, and man, they're doing great.
Has it been a busy, grueling summer for you? Has it been chill? It's, obviously recruiting, because we tried to get you on the show, and then we got busy. We had baseball going deep, and then I don't think we've caught up since like May.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, then football gets going.
Yeah.
So we all listen to football, but summer's been kind of standard issue for us.
Yeah.
I mean, watching a lot of junior golfers and kind of figuring out where we are in terms of where we're going. Obviously, things are a moving target right now with the NCAA and stuff changing, but our job doesn't really change. We're trying to get the best match for our program. Talented guys that want to be Aggies that we know will be a great part of not just what we do at the golf program, but be Aggies forever. So big deal for us.
Let's look back and then look ahead. How would you categorize last season?
I think we got better as the year went on. Maybe ran out of steam a little bit there at the end. Really played fine at the national championship and had a chance to get in the top 15, which gives you a chance to get to the 8. Had a real bad finish to our second round. Just 3 holes. So you got to play them all. The guys, they gave what they had. They for sure are a hardworking bunch and the whole bit. And but to categorize the year, I think we had a lot of highs. I think we got better as the year went on, which speaks to the kind of guys we had and how hard they work. And it set us up for this year, which we've got like I said, 2 guys playing in the AM, and had several other guys that played a lot of good golf this summer. So
how different is the roster?
We only lose 1 guy.
Okay.
So we lose Danny Rodriguez, who basically played almost every golf tournament for 4 years.
Every time you come in here, we've talked about him, right?
Roddy, man. Love that guy. I actually got to talk to him here in a little bit. So we lose him. We bring in a couple freshmen, Wheaton, Ennis, who's highly decorated. Alex Long, who I think is just a big, strong athlete, and also obviously a really good player. And we dipped into the transfer portal, not necessarily because we needed something. It was a player that we're familiar with.
Good fit.
It was a good fit, a guy that we know. I've known and watched him play a ton of golf, and he came over here from UT, and he's had he's nearly won 2 or 3 tournaments for them in the last few years. So Jacob Sosa, yeah. So be good to see him put on some maroon and get going in the program as well.
Let's talk a little bit about P and how he has grown. I mean, obviously we're seeing it right now. We're watching it happen, but just talk about his growth.
P's, the growth is just a great word for him, growth and maturity. So, COVID really hit him hard in terms of, he was in Thailand and they basically shut down the world over there. So, so he had a year and a half where he didn't play competitive golf. So for him to come in and get going with us, and we've put a lot on him in terms of we've pushed him, and he's really matured and really digs his heels in at times. And he's learning to do that a little better each and every year. So we expect him to be our lead guy this year. He's going to be the guy at the front of the bus, and these other guys which will follow him and try to chase him down as because he kind of comes in as the best player. So, but not only is he a great player, he's a really good dude. You've heard some of his interviews. He gets it's a lot easy for him, a little awkward sometimes because he gets nervous, but he's fun to listen to, fun to be around, and man, is he a hard worker. And I can't emphasize that enough. Just so proud of how he works at his craft.
When somebody's a hard worker like that, how hard is it from your perspective to kind of like, all right, like you got to also chill?
Yeah, Fast and I have played enough competitive golf throughout our lives and have been around it enough to know when it's, hey, Pete, you need to take a day, man. Let's go get your car taken care of. Go, whatever, get a nice workout in, and go get a good dinner and just relax. You don't need to do something today. So we can kind of notice. We can see it because we see where their energy level's at, and we kind of see what their body language looks like. But he's one of the guys that once in a while we do have to say, hey, it's okay to shut it down for a day.
Yeah,
that's not a week, but let's shut it down for a day and just kind of get a small reset. But we have a few other guys like that too. I mean, Aaron and Jack and Jake, those guys, freshmen from last year, and they are workers too. So
you'd rather have that than the opposite of guys who aren't working enough.
Yeah, and that's a big part of, like you asked about how the summer goes. That's a big evaluation for us is trying to figure out guys that fit that mold because I think we're an absolutely elite program and an elite university, but the guys that perform here are blue collar guys. Whatever that match is, that's kind of what we have. And
you recruit for that as well?
A little bit in terms of, I mean, a lot of them come from unbelievable families and grow up at these country clubs like a lot of golfers do, but their mentality is more of a blue collar, get to work. I've got something to prove today. Those guys are awesome for us. And then they dig in a little bit and they love being around each other and they, end up being, basically family for 4 years. So when we get that kind of mentality going throughout our program, we're strong.
Tell us a little bit about Wheaton.
Dub. So Wheaton, he's, from Idaho, Boise. And spends his summer and winters in Litchfield Park in Arizona playing golf. But he is one of the best players in junior golf, coming out this year. He's played a ton of just high-level, high competitive stuff in high-level situations. He's won the Arizona Amateur this year. Obviously, he's at the USM now. Played several other big junior events and some other amateur events this summer. Nearly won the Pat Coast Am, which is an amateur event, not a junior event anymore. So he's really learning as he goes and learning how to win golf tournaments and learning how to stack rounds. So wonderful guy, wonderful kid, comes from a great family. He's going to fit in he committed really quickly to us when he could. Almost 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I think that was, whatever the time was that our dates kind of get convoluted a little bit, but he committed pretty quick. He wanted to be an Aggie. There was something about the draw to A&M that got him, and we're fortunate that he's going to be part of what we're doing.
Each sport has their own challenges over the next year of having to deal with this new landscape that is becoming college sports and NCAA. How do you see some of these changes affecting men's golf?
Man, I don't even know because right now it's such a moving target.
It changes all the time. I feel like
it changes, but it doesn't change. Like they talk a lot about stuff, proposal this, proposal that. We're going to approach it just like we always have. We've got 4.5 scholarships. We expect to compete at a very high level every time we tee it up, and we'll find guys that want to do that in the maroon. So we'll keep doing that, plugging away at that until they tell us to change that way of doing things. But in the short term, we're ready to tee it up. We got a good group of guys that are ready to compete.
Excuse me, I don't know the number. What is the number that they're saying for golf in the future?
The number I think that number is solid as 9. I think we're going to be a 9 roster program. Now, how that's funded or what levels it's funded to. I mean, currently we're 4.5 scholarships, or how they change that around, who knows, or what they're even able to do. I think that's going to be a conference deal a little bit, but in terms of, I don't want to say something that I really don't know.
Right.
But in terms of how we're doing things, we're just going about business and trying to get the best players and best fits for our program and keep plugging on.
And I guess from that respect, it's another great reason to be in the SEC, because if it does come down to the conference, you are in the conference that does care the most.
Yeah, there's no question our conference is incredibly strong up and down, from sport to sport. Golf in particular, I mean, I can't speak to everybody's sport. I mean, obviously we know football, basketball, baseball, softball and all those things they're incredibly strong. Soccer, I mean, heck, I don't even know where it stops and starts, but we had Texas and Oklahoma, 2 teams that have won national championships in recent years and are fantastic programs and the university is heavily invested in those programs. So our already really difficult conference became even more challenging, and let's tee it up. Let's go.
One thing I know you're proud of, the men's golf team earned 2023-24 all academic team status from the Golf Coaches Association. Just another outstanding school year.
we kept the blue collar guys. I mean, we've got guys
It goes back to that.
We've got several guys, in finance, going through the finance program, and other guys in different areas of the business program, and the balance that they're able to settle into and make day to day is incredible. And they live outside of golf and school too. So the life balance that they're able to achieve at A&M and through all the support we get is incredible. And when they leave here, they're ready for whatever's in front of them. So I'm really proud of that.
I want to kind of go through some of the fall schedule, but 6 tournaments coming up this fall. Just overall, how do you think that all kind of plays out?
Yeah, I mean, we're playing some fantastic venues. I know I use superlatives all the time, but, we're going to places like Seattle and playing Sahali, which is one of the best courses in the country. And you step off the plane and get back home and get prepared to go to Olympia Fields, which hosted several major championships in the last, even in recent times. It's not like this old club that doesn't exist anymore. They're still hosting major championships. And then get back from that and head up to Colonial, which, everybody in Texas knows Colonial. And they just did a big, huge remodel, and they're ready to go into the next part of golf, and then come back from there and go play Sedgefield, where the tour event was last week.
Yeah.
So our first 4 events are at just highly decorated clubs, great challenges for the guys. It makes it easy to leave town when you know what you're facing, and they know what they're facing, and then we sneak off and play a tournament at Furman at the end of the year where we get to take a bunch of guys. So 5 tournaments where we take the whole team, and then we'll mix a few other. I think waste one other in there. We'll get some guys some experience maybe at an individual event. So I like how our fall stacks up. It really comes at us pretty quick. Our first event's we leave the 4th of September and we're back the 21st of October, and that'll be 5 events. So
already, wow.
Yeah, so you get a month and a half of golf where it comes at you pretty quick.
And this is an obvious yes, but when you play at a place like Dallas, right? Does it feel like a home field ish?
Yeah, man, I don't know.
Not home field, but you feel the maroon, I would assume.
There's more people around that have ties to A&M, and a lot of times they'll come up and say, "Hey, I got my my son goes to A&M or something."
Right.
We get a lot of that. But Aggies are everywhere, so we'll see some in Seattle. We'll see some wherever we go. We typically bump into somebody at an airport that walks up, shows us the ring, and says, "Class of '78, what team are you guys?" And have a great conversation about it. And so it doesn't matter where we go. We're going to have somebody there with eyes on us.
Yeah. Tell me the timeline right now. So I know when you guys start, but what do these next few weeks look like?
Well, short term, we're watching intently with Wheaton and P. School starts the 19th. We'll start practice soon thereafter, qualifying the 22nd. And once we start qualifying, we'll get about 10 days in before we head to Seattle. So from the time we get to those first meetings to the time we play, it's a pretty, and it's not quick, but it's a good introduction to what we're doing. But once we leave for Seattle and get in the rhythm of things, it's before you know it, you're at Sedgefield with 10 days left in the year. So it goes pretty good. We'll get them in the gym. These guys get in there 3 days a week at 7 in, and Bo Sandoval gives them some good stuff. So
he's a great follow on social media, by the way.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
If he would be, you should have him in here and talk about some stuff, because
MMA, golf,
that guy's got some stories. It's awesome. But guys respect him. He respects us, and we connected right off the bat. Our first meeting, he kind of looked at me like, golf. Why would I want to work with golf? And I said, and my whole thing was, I just want these guys to be treated like athletes, and we treat them like that. And Bo does. I mean, he's treats them like he would treat anybody else. They're an athlete. They're not a golfer in there. So we connected right off the bat, and he's just such a valuable guy to what we do. So we get in there and do that, and we're fortunate to have a lot of the support staff that we have. So we'll get these guys going. They're excited, I'm sure.
You happy with the way things are laying out?
Yeah, very happy. I mean, it's Traditions is getting the renovation going, or it's been going all summer. So they're looking like October will be in a really good spot there. Done a great job on our facility. We're working towards maybe some other projects that are coming down the pipeline. So a lot of growth. Garrett and I bending a lot of ears, talking to a lot of people. So got to continue to grow. This is what the sport is. Just like any other sport that A&M has. I mean, we have to continue to move forward and evolve with the times, but evolve with the idea that we're still elite and we want to be elite, and that's where we're going to live.
Yep.
And we're glad to be there.
Thank you so much for coming in, man. Appreciate
you having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Kortan here in studio. All right, let's talk a little Varsity Grill House. If you want to go watch golf, you want to watch football, you just want to have a nice, classy dinner with your wife or your friends, you need to go to the Varsity Grill House. They have great food. You can hang out with friends there. They're Aggie-owned and conveniently located in front of the Academy on Highway 6 right here in College Station. Vibrant atmosphere. They got 4 farm steaks. They got sizzling burgers. All the signature cocktails you can imagine, dozens of those. And you can treat yourself to awesome desserts, too. It is a cool place to go just to hang out on a Friday night, or if you want to go for lunch today, the food is delicious. They create unforgettable experiences for big events and small events. Signature dishes, custom menus, you name it. It's the Varsity Grill House, your home for good times and great food. Go check it out right next to the Academy in College Station on Highway 6. It's the Varsity Grill House. Thank you for picking this, guys. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, hour number 2 of the program. Just enjoyed a nice conversation with Brian Kortan. We're going to have AT with us here momentarily in the next segment, about 10 minutes or so. And then hour number 3 is super loaded as well. We're going to have Joni Taylor in studio around 10:20. and Jamie Morrison coming by at 10:35. We also have at the top of the hour, I shouldn't forget this, Dustin Harris coming to the studio too. A little throwback. We'll chit-chat with Dustin Harris at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. We've got some SEC storylines to get into, but before we do that, as a reminder, I'm wearing the black alternate uniforms that at some point this season we will see. If you want to go purchase them, you can, or purchase it, I should say. Go to CC Creations, go find them online at the warehouse, and you'll find all the. Somebody was asking me what size this is. This is the large. So check it out at Maroon U CC Creations. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. That's where we find the Luke Evangelist. Luke?
David Nuño's lying. That jersey's not a large. It's a schmedium. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Listen, Golden Girl. All right, I know that's an easy one to go to, all right? But have you ever watched the movie, what was it? It was Sylvester Stallone and Estelle Getty. Not Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. Maybe it's that.
No.
Google that.
Never heard
Google
of it. Okay.
Sylvester Stallone, Estelle Getty, right? And I want you to think or look and see, is this me? Can you do it right now on me?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
All right, I think it's called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. All right?
Yeah, I see it.
That's you.
Okay.
Okay? That is you. And there isn't a person listening that does, except for the mustache.
I can see it. I can see
that's
it.
you.
Hey, on a serious topic, Jeff in College Station texted in that tomorrow is Stephen McGee's daughter's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy early birthday, Georgia McGee.
Happy birthday. That's. I wish I would have known entering the segment.
And speaking of Stephen McGee, I don't think anyone saw this because it was off air, but he was asking Coach Kortan about if he had any extra eligibility to play on the golf team because his golf game has supposedly progressed. I don't know how old is Stephen McGee? Like 30s?
Probably like mid-30s, right?
Okay.
He played in, 05, 06, 07, so yeah. Mid-30s.
So Arkansas, actually, on a similar note, has a 29-year-old freshman playing wide receiver this season.
29?
29. I'm going to explain a little bit of his story. I just found this on Twitter yesterday. Monte Harrison played professional baseball for 10 years before coming back to college to play for the Razorbacks. He was actually a key piece in the Christian Yelich trade. He went from Milwaukee to Miami in 2018. He played 50 MLB games, totaling 12 hits and 2 homers, and played in 770 games in the minor leagues. So coming out of high school, Harrison was a 4-star athlete in the 2014 class, originally committed to Nebraska to play football and baseball, but he was selected 50th overall in the second round of the MLB draft in 2014 and ended up signing out of high school. So can you think of anyone that was in that 2014 high school class that Harrison was also in?
Can I think of anybody else who was in the 2014 class? Give me, who are you thinking?
How about Myles Garrett?
Oh, Myles Garrett. There you go.
Kyle Allen, Leonard Fournette.
So that's
Patrick Mahomes.
Holy smokes. Yeah. That's just kind of all clicking in. Because when you asked that, I was actually looking up who was, I'm trying to remember, was it Brandon Whedon?
Yeah.
That was 28, 29 years old when he was at Oklahoma State. Maybe he was a little bit younger than that, but he was kind of in a similar position. I was just trying to think older guys that have played college sports. I know A&M's had a couple. Like there's been Mark Ferris. There's been other guys, but that's interesting.
Do you remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, there was that, I don't know the specifics of it, so I don't want to say anything that's not true, but there was like that really old guy that played for like South Carolina State. I forget.
When you say really old, how old are we talking about?
Let me see. It was a couple of years ago. He was 55. His name was Joe Thomas, oldest player ever in Division I history. He was 55 years old.
What school was this?
South Carolina State.
I don't think I remember this story.
Huh. It was yeah, let me find the specific year. I'll just turn my computer around and show y'all.
Research on TexAgs.
Yeah. Hard-hitting research right
Google on TexAgs.com.
This was him.
Okay. All right, I can kind of see it.
55 years old. David, so do you think you could play Division I football at, what are you, 72 now?
Oh, that was
68?
funny. That was great. That was awesome. I couldn't play Division I anything at any age. But I will say, I think I am at 48 in a month. I am not that far off when I was 29. I'll say that.
I think you could pull it off.
I couldn't pull it off at my best. No way. I couldn't make Division 12 any sport. I'm not gifted, unfortunately.
You definitely couldn't even beat me in a game of basketball. Okay, on to some serious news now. ESPN just released their preseason All-American teams, and I'm just gonna highlight some of the SEC players.
Why are you laughing?
Because
you can't laugh at your own joke.
Your face when they pan back to you was funny. That's all I'm saying. Carson Beck from Georgia was the first team quarterback. Luther Burden from Missouri. The entire offensive line is from the SEC. Will Campbell from LSU. Tate Ratledge from UGA. Parker Brailsford, the center from Alabama. Tyler Booker from Alabama. And Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas. Moving on to the defense, 3 out of the 4 defensive linemen are also from the SEC. That's James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, Deion Walker from Kentucky, and our very own Nick Scorton from Texas A&M.
By the way, we're going to talk about Nick tomorrow with OB because I found an article that I think he'd be interested in. But every expert that has written about Nick Scorton, Google search this, right? Go to Google News or whatever. They're all expecting what he did at Purdue and more at A&M. Continue on.
I'll finish this and then I'll read a funny comment on the YouTube page. Moving on to the linebackers, Danny Stutzman from OU and Harold Perkins from LSU, Malachi Starks, the safety from UGA, and Graham Nicholson, the place kicker from Alabama. I just got a very funny reminder of Spaceballs, which I'm surprised was not mentioned in some of the funniest movies conversation that y'all were having with Stephen McGee. But
Spaceballs was great.
Yeah. Baby Billy Freeman says, Luke reminds me of Barf from Spaceballs.
Which one's Barf?
He's the guy with like the dog makeup. Very
okay.
funny character.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that might be the best compliment I've ever gotten in my life.
Uh-huh. Thank you, Estelle. Appreciate you. Oh, Chris Wenke at Florida State. There we go, Cuervoa. I knew there were some other ones. He was 25 years old, coming back from pro baseball, played quarterback. Yep, absolutely. That's another good one there, no doubt. All
Speaking of, can I get one more in?
Can you? Sure.
Speaking of an older college player, how about Boots Radford?
He just signed to go overseas, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say he just signed with the club Final Spor in the Turkish Basketball League. He had a short stint with the Spurs Summer League team, and he has decided to take his talents over to Turkey and play professionally there. So congratulations, Boots.
Yeah, look, he's a player that I don't care where he's at, he's going to thrive. He's going to make that roster better, and I do think we will see him back in the States playing at some point. I think, by the way, you can make a lot of money going overseas. More than you can make, I don't have the numbers, and I might be totally wrong here, but I've read you can make significantly more money playing overseas than in the G League.
Yeah.
Depending on what kind of contract you have, obviously, if you have a two-way or whatnot. But that's great for him.
Absolutely.
You got, do you know when anything basketball related right now, Buzz and company? I know you're super high on them, but is there anything that we need to be aware of training-wise or anything going on?
I think the next thing that's going to come out, they just released their non-conference schedule. Next up, I'm looking for the SEC schedule. We already know the opponents. And then on top of that, in the non-conference schedule, they're playing that like Players Classic tournament in Las Vegas, which is really on the cutting edge of, those Thanksgiving and Christmas tournaments where it's typically a lot of exposure. That tournament is going to be a lot of NIL focus, so a lot of NIL opportunities for players more than maybe the Maui Jim Invitational or playing in the Bahamas like A&M has done in the past. So they're playing, I believe, Creighton, Oregon, and San Diego State. That's their side of the bracket, and we're just waiting to know when those games are played and then at what time, but that'll be during Thanksgiving. So I'm looking for, number one, that schedule to be released, and that would complete their non-conference schedule, and then the SEC schedule to be released probably sometime within the next month or two.
Before we hit a break, let's just play this quick game. Mm-hmm. Are we pretty high on football this year, Luke?
Yes.
Okay. And whatever level of high you want to call it, I think we're pretty high on football. We're high on baseball?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. And we're high on basketball.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just saying.
We're high on softball as well. We're high on women's basketball.
Volleyball. Jamie's coming in here shortly. Women's basketball, everything. So we just had men's golf, women's golf, as you know, track and field. It's
women's
up,
tennis,
friends.
The reigning national champs.
The reigning national champs. Can they back-to-back it?
I hope so. They bring back a lot of pieces, and they added some in the transfer portal.
Yep. All right. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back with Aaron Torres under a freeway, and we'll get to your text messages and your phone calls. 979. Why did I say 9 like that? 979-693-1150. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You can find them on Highway 21 in Caldwell and online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. They have a great selection of commercial vehicles with service body trucks. You've got flatbed trucks right now, several medium-duty trucks for those heavier jobs. So certainly reach out to Caldwell Country Chevrolet, and they'll take great care of you. They are locally owned and operated by Aggie alumni. They have the best customer service in the area. We're talking complimentary pickup and delivery for their service customers and free oil changes for life on the purchase of your vehicle as long as you own that vehicle. They are a proud supporter of Aggie athletics. That's why you see them at all the games. That's why they just want to be around. They have a strong and committed sales staff with many, many years satisfying customer needs. They took care of our needs with our Tahoe when it comes to customer service, when it comes to the right price and the great trade-in value. Caldwell Country Chevrolet is the premier dealer for commercial vehicles and all of your small business needs, and of course, just normal needs, like all of us. It is just south of big city prices. They promise to treat their customers like family. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. membership at MillikenReserve.com. Now I hear something. Okay. Oh, good. So now I can hear again because we're going to go talk to Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Online and Fox Sports Radio. But I was scared I wasn't going to be able to hear him. But let's go to the Boss Firearms Hotline, and we are joined by Aaron Torres. AT, good morning, buddy.
David Nuño, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Did I tell you I was on vacation this week or no? I thought I did.
Oh. Then why'd you answer? Why'd you answer?
You know what? I'll tell you the truth. It's just the two of us, right? No one will hear this.
Nobody will hear this.
Doing the old, late family travel. Literally, it's I'm a few hours behind you, so it's a little early here. Just woke up, probably about 20 minutes ago. Came down for coffee. In-laws were already arguing over nothing. Typical in-law stuff. Nothing good, nothing bad, just literally nothing. They're old and they just like to argue. And so I said, you know what? I saw the 979 area code, and I was like, I could sit here and listen to this for 20 minutes, or I could take a 20-minute break and talk to my boy Nuño. So I was like, I'll just come. What the heck?
Well, apologies. You did tell me on the air last week. You did, so that's my fault.
Yeah, but that is, in all honesty, what's going on. But other than that, a great little getaway. Been following from a distance. Feel like there has been some camp news. By the way, if I've missed anything major, I apologize. I mean, you can obviously update me live on air here, but feels like, there's been some injury stuff and everything, so I've been trying to follow. But anyway, I'm here to talk about whatever, and hopefully I don't start talking about my Heisman Trophy favorite that we just found out is out for the season. So.
Well, look, I want to get into some real football stuff here in a moment, and I appreciate you joining us on this vacation. But I was given a note to ask you, right? Our crack staff in the back said you've got to ask AT about hot takes surrounding fall weddings on college football Saturdays. Apparently you have an awesome scorching take.
No. It's first of all, it's funny. So I know you don't spend much time on social media, nor should you, but the discourse restarted yesterday. But what was ironic was it was started by a former intern of mine who I love, this kid Freddie, who's like literally totally off the wall. And the funny thing about it is, he's the guy that he's the most online internet guy ever, where he is the fan that will go to his rivals, main pages just to tell them how much they stink after a win. So it was funny that it was started by him. But yeah, I just think, listen, it's one of those, I think it's kind of a stupid, conversation, honestly, like so many, it's I think that there's, let me put it this way. I think there's a few factors. I think there's a few variables that are true here. Is one, yes, I think that if you live in the southeastern part of the country and you went to an SEC school or a school that celebrates football, you probably should be smart enough to know that, hey, the large contingency of people that are going to be at your wedding care about college football, figure out a way to get married sometime between December 15th and July 30th or, August 15th or whatever. So I think that part is true. One, these people that are like, I would never attend a fall wedding. Well, first of all, you just outed yourself as a loser because that's not true. You've clearly never had a girlfriend because if your wife or girlfriend tells you, hey, honey, be there, it's I'm the maid of honor, and you don't show up because Tennessee's playing Georgia, yeah, good luck getting back into the house when you get home from the game. So I just, and, I think the other thing that I actually, I know I was joking about my family, situation, the crisis this morning over nothing, but I do also think that as I get older, if it's somebody that I care about, I appreciate spending time with old friends as I get to see them less, family as I get to see them less, et cetera. So I don't know that I had any, I actually think I had the most moderate take ever. And I think a lot of people that, that say, ban fall weddings, or it's like, you're playing to the audience, and that's okay. I get it. But yeah, so I gave you 4 minutes where I didn't really actually answer the question or give a hot take at all. I apologize.
It's all good, man. Hey, I do want to ask you about.
How do you feel? Are you Mr. if you dare schedule a wedding the day the Aggies play South Dakota State, you're banned from the Nuño.
Nah.
I'm blocking you on my phone. Yeah,
I'm just not going to go.
Look,
I'm going to be real honest. I don't like going to weddings.
Yeah. Well, also, and
I'm looking for a reason not to go. I don't want to be invited to your graduation or your wedding. That's just the facts. No, I'm not talking about UAT in general.
That's great because I'm actually finally graduating with my BA in December, so I was hoping you'd be there. So that's great. I think you and I have a unique situation where like it would actually cause like some major inconvenience, not only like for personally but professionally. So I think that there's that element to it. But yeah, I think that there's a lot of people that just pander to dumb people on social media. So
I had a niece get married last November, right? LSU weekend. She lives in Florida. You know, I love going to Florida. And I was like, girl, I can't go. And I'm not going to go, right?
Sure.
Like, now I do know that I went to Seattle for a soccer tournament during the College World Series. I'm a bad guy for that, I admit. But I am not, there's certain weekends that are not negotiable, right? So anyway, go ahead.
And I think it depends. And I think lastly, it depends on the person too, and the degree to which you can't. Like, I'll give you just a quick example. I haven't taken off a college football Saturday, I would guess, in probably a decade. But my best friend's wife, my best friend was the best man in my wedding. I see him maybe once a year. I probably haven't seen his wife in 2 or 3 years. She turned. She has a big birthday. Let's put it that way. First week of October. They wanted us to come down. We're coming down. And you know what? If I actually, ironically, I'm going to Nashville. It's Alabama Vanderbilt that weekend, so I might end up at a college football game anyway. But it's the first time I've taken a day off. But it's because I actually genuinely care about these people and want to see them. But yeah, if it was somebody, if it was a buddy of mine, whatever, you get the point. We can move on. So yeah, I see what you're saying though.
So you were talking about there's been some injuries. Unfortunately, A&M fell victim of it this morning. I read about Missouri's defensive lineman who they were expecting big things injured. Oklahoma had a wide receiver. Obviously, the Ruben Owens situation. Texas losing a couple of running backs. A lot of big programs missing some key pieces already.
Yeah, and that was, again, because, I'm kind of on this pseudo-inconvenient vacation. I haven't gone back and looked. There's always going to be stuff in the fall, and you never want it for anyone, for any program. We all get that. It feels like it has been big names at big programs. Now, I can't speak to every single spot, but last week I know we talked about the Notre Dame offensive tackle. Texas last year, I think they actually, weirdly built depth through the season because Jonathan Brooks got injured and he was playing really well, and then they were able to get depth behind him while still going to the college football playoff. Ruben Owens is kind of the same, where I think it's a spot where A&M, I would defer to you, but I think felt pretty comfortable, but you don't want to lose him anyway. But it just feels to me like there are more big names at key spots. And listen, I know this is the most cliche talking point of college football 2024, but I think it's a fair one, is that I think as we get into this 12-team playoff, depth is going to be a thing. It's not only about avoiding injuries like this, but it's, avoiding, guys getting banged up where it's not a season-ending thing, but it might be a 2-week thing, a 3-week thing. And I just think it's going to be so fascinating to follow this sport this year now into mid to late January, because I do think that I don't think it's going to be a surprise that the healthiest teams late are also going to be the ones that are probably playing into mid to late January.
All right, so I got a 2-part question. One is just, do you think Georgia? I don't want to spend a long time on Georgia last year, but I got a point to where I'm going. Should Georgia have been invited to the playoffs last year, in your opinion?
Since I know you want to get to your point, they may have been the best team in the country, but in a 14 playoff, no, they should not have been invited last year specifically.
Okay, had they been invited, would they have won it all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I think what I know for a fact, because I remember seeing it at the time, was people put out, sportsbooks put out hypothetical lines, and Georgia would have been favored in a rematch against Alabama, and they would have been favored over Michigan. Now, I happen to think last year's Michigan team was so unique, it kind of plays into what's still going on right now, where, they won their 2 biggest regular season games without their head coach on the sidelines. They go to Penn State, their biggest road game. They don't even know people forget this, but they didn't even know who was coaching the team an hour before kickoff. Their offensive play caller became the head coach an hour before kickoff. So I think they were uniquely mentally tough, and I think they would have found a way to win a national championship last year. But, I don't know if you want to expand on this any further, but I think the way the playoff was structured last year with only 4 teams and the way that, hey, the Pac-12 had a representative, the Big 12 had a deserving representative, I don't think there was justification for putting Georgia in after they lost the SEC championship.
I get that. I think they were the best team in college football last year. I think they would have won, but I have no problem thinking the season that Michigan had that they would have won that as well. I can understand that argument. The reason I say all that is that they again are considered to be 1A of maybe 2 or 3 teams to win it this year, right? As of right now, that's kind of the feeling. So had they won it last year, what's the talking point? You know what I'm saying? Because this run that they're on is ridiculous. And I know they didn't make it last year, but I'm sorry. I think they were better than a lot of the teams that went. And I feel that way.
No, I don't think that's wrong. And, and I think it speaks to, I think it's going to speak to another thing that ends up becoming a thing as we get deeper into this 12-team college football playoff is, we're here. It's happening. It's going to be cool. I've made my picks earlier this week, before I left. And, seeing the teams in a bracket looked pretty cool. And so I just bring it up to say it's here, it's whatever. But I was never of the belief that we needed to expand the playoff because I don't believe that the pool of teams that was good enough to win a national championship was as big as people think. And so I bring that up to say that I actually think the 12-team playoff, as weird as it sounds, and I know it sounds weird, I think it actually narrows the group of teams that can win the national championship. And I don't know if we're ever going to see teams going for 3 in a row or 4 in a row like you just kind of proposed Georgia could hypothetically. But I think if you think that and I'm not saying you think this, but if the casual fan or the casual media member thinks expanding the playoff to 12, now there are 12 teams truly competing for a championship. On paper, yes, that's actually factually correct, but it's just not the case. And I actually think the Georgias, the Ohio States, whoever emerges in these next few years of this era, I think there's going to be a group of 2 or 3 every year that really just have an advantage because of the way they recruit, because of maybe the way their NIL is set up, because of the way their coaching staff is set up. And so I actually think that Georgia, this 12-team playoff thing isn't going to slow them down. It's actually probably going to help them because, one, even in a year like last year, well, now they're just in as the 6 seed or the 5 seed or whatever they would have been. And then 2, obviously, you're in the field. And once you get in there, you have a chance to beat anybody, but they also have obviously the depth and the size and everything that would need it to be there. So I think this 12-team playoff is actually going to probably hurt parity a little bit more than people think it's actually going to help it.
AT, I'm going to ask you one last question here. We got about a minute and a half. If you were to pick, so we had this topic at the beginning of the show, one team that's maybe in the top 10 that will finish the season unranked, who would that be? If you had, if you need me to tell you the top 10, I can. But if there's a team in that top 10.
Yes. Spit them out to me real quick. You could give me 5 to 10. I know the top 5 is Georgia, whoever. Georgia,
I'll give you
State, Oregon,
the ones
Texas.
that are in front of me because I don't have the whole list. Texas at number 4, Alabama at number 5. You got Notre Dame at 7. You got Michigan at 9, Florida State at 10. Those are the ones that I have in front of me, just looking at this article that I'm reading. Any of those teams?
Okay, so I'll give you a hypothetical. Florida State plays at Notre Dame first week of November. I think the loser of that game will be outside of the top 25. Top 25, you said, to end the season?
Yep.
I don't buy, 80% of the argument for Notre Dame is that the schedule is very managed. Nobody's sitting there like Notre Dame's, defensive front is so, they have NFL dudes. It's like, well, the schedule is manageable at A&M to open, at USC to close, and at Florida State at home are their 3 toughest games. And, USC right now we deem to be a fringe top 25 team. So I've just found, covering the sport as long as I have, that when the entire argument for a team is how easy their schedule is and not based on anything merit-based, that usually doesn't end up working out well for them. So I think they're a player. And then with Florida State, I'll be quick. I've lived 4 years of the DJU experience. I don't wish any ill will on the kid. But even last year at Oregon State, completed 57% of his passes. He's not better. He's not improved. He hasn't learned. He's not accurate. I hate to be crass, but that's just the reality. And, of course, Florida State lost so much off that team that they had their own argument about making the playoff last year. But, yeah, those would be the 2 obvious ones that jump out to me. I'll add this, too, really quick because I know we got to go. Texas, I just don't buy that they are this power that is ready to come in and take over this league. I think they're a fringe playoff team by the end of the year. Maybe we can expand on that next week if you want.
AT, I'm glad I can call you next week because I called you on your vacation. Thank you, buddy.
No problem. You spared me. You saved me more than you know. I appreciate you, Nuño. We'll talk soon, okay?
Take care, AT. On the Boss Firearms Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a short segment. Right now, FBS Appliance and their team of experts are here to help you find the appliances that'll make your house a home. They have all the top brands. They pride themselves on offering a comprehensive solution that sets them apart from the competition. They specialize in providing top-notch sales and installation services for leading brands, ensuring a seamless experience for their customers. And their customer satisfaction is at the core of everything they do. That's why they have the best trained staff out there. And that means sales. That means also service. And they are the very best. They are committed to delivering an exceptional experience from start to finish. Visit any of their 8 showrooms across Texas or find them online at factorybuilderstores.com. That is factorybuilderstores.com. All right, we're back on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Let's get a quick text message in. Luke at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center.
Madden in Houston says Georgia getting left out was the biggest snub last season that barely anyone talked about.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. All right, I'll do this. I'll hit a break because I got to hit a break. But we'll give you a little Brazos Running Company before we talk to Dustin Harris here on the program. You can find them at Century Square, locally Aggie owned and operated, and they have all the top shoes. I got my Ons. I love them. The Clouds, they're fantastic. I highly recommend you go there, have them, put you on the treadmill. You can go super slow if you want, or super fast for people like Luke, right? That are just really fast. You just go on there. They're going to test your gait. They're going to find the right shoe for you because the right shoe makes all the difference in any kind of fitness that you may be into. They have all the top brands, Brooks, On, Hoka, Birkenstock, Fiore, you name it, they have it there at the Brazos Running Company, located at Century Square below the Star Cinema Grill in College Station. It is the Brazos Running Company. Dustin Harris next on TexAgs Radio. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk about some good times. Dustin Harris is here in studio to talk about current Aggie football, old school Aggie football. But before we get into anything, first off, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's living my best life.
Can I have you show off that belt buckle? Because that was sweet when you walked in. Man. Look at that. Yeah. Like, he came in here like the boss, right? Dustin Harris, the boss on the program. So I forget, man, you played a lot of Aggie football.
I did.
You know, like I think the last thing I remember, and like we started talking, I was like, wait, did you played against Texas a few times, and then you also played against Alabama a few times? Like you had both worlds.
Yeah. I guess it helped out starting as a freshman. But yeah, I mean, I got to play against Texas, got to play against Alabama my senior year, which was great. Man, it was fun. It was amazing.
What was your favorite part of Aggieland? Like, I'm sure the memories, the camaraderie, but like, just when you think back, like this is some of my go-to moments.
Just being able to hit the tailgates after the games. Those, especially my family had a tailgate right across the railroad tracks, and being able to have a big win in Kyle Field and then travel not even 200-300 feet and get to celebrate with the fans and my admirers, my fans, my family. It was amazing. It was amazing.
How much pride did you take in special teams?
A lot. That was my kind of my go-to because defense was fun, but I knew in special teams if I made a big play that could set the tone for the game, and so that was my goal every time I stepped foot on the field for special teams and punt return, and even kickoff, just going down there trying to make a play. Stop them short, keep them by the goal line. And so, but that punt return, man, that still to this day, every time I see a punt return, it gives me chills to my bones.
Yeah. Can I bring up something that you're not happy about? We just talked about it a moment ago, the last time you guys played Texas, right? Yeah. You said that still haunts you to this moment. It kind of explained, because for those who don't remember, take it from there.
Yeah. So 2011, Texas, it was.
We all remember the referee.
Yeah, we remember the referee, and I'm not going to blame. I'll never blame the referees. Probably back then while I was young, I did, but they're doing their job as well. But that last minute field goal to put them on top to win the game really haunts me, because I had the opportunity to block it coming off the edge. During that play, I actually tore a lot of ligaments and cartilage in my knee, and right before that ball game. So I was kind of not juiced up, but I had some shots in my knee before the ball game. But that Texas game was amazing, and to be honest, I cannot wait till
they play again.
Have
you ever, and not to focus on this too much, but have you ever thought about, had you made that block, what the talking points? Because for a decade, we've been talking about being the SEC, and we're not, we're here and you're not. But they always said, well, we got you the last time. Yeah. We got you the last time. You ever think about that?
Yeah, especially now that the rivalry's coming back, I think that our guys have a bigger chip on their shoulder to prove something. Because of that last field goal. And now that the rivalry's back, I guarantee you it's probably going to be the most watched game in college football history.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
So how did you feel in 21 when we found out it was happening? And now that it's here, it's, a couple months away, how do you feel about it?
Well, I felt good about it. I'm glad that rivalry's back, because that's what I grew up on. When I got here to A&M, it was drilled into our brain. We do not like Texas.
Yeah.
And to get away from that for a couple years, a few years at that, and and now having it come back, it should put a chip on, like I said, on the guy's shoulders. But it is going to be the wildest college football game out there. I thought playing LSU was great atmosphere, but bringing that Texas rivalry back is going to be the best atmosphere.
Dustin, what's weird is that when that news came down, I didn't want it to happen. Initially, I was like, I don't think it's true, and I don't want it to happen.
No.
That was the initial thought. And then I was like, whatever. They can come to the SEC. They don't know what's coming. And I still kind of feel that way. But at that time, they went 5-7 in the Big 12. And I thought A&M was about to go 10-2 at least.
Yeah.
And then things didn't turn. Now, they're the top 5 team.
Exactly.
And we are the team with a new coach trying to prove ourselves.
Yeah, and I think going into this year, we have the best opportunity to put, the Aggies back on the map when it comes to the rivalry, when it comes to the college football atmosphere, and when it just comes down to, being able to put wins on the board.
Right.
They've got the talent. They've got the coaching staff. Man, I love Coach. I've watched him while he was at Duke, and just the way he, mentored those guys and was there for them and got them through the tough losses, but also brought them back for the very next week. So I'm hoping he's able to instill that into the guys here at A&M.
He's got a presence to him. Look, I thought it was going to work with Jimbo. I really did, until I didn't.
Yeah.
Right? But I have a different level of optimism from Coach Elko because, and see, follow me here. He was such an elite recruiter. I was like, well, you know what?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out eventually. Elko's recruiting at that level right now, and he's detail-oriented. And he's got, I just think he's not only saying the right things, he's about that life.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just the way he talks, in media days while he's on camera. But I can only imagine what he's saying to those guys in the locker room because, those guys, we had a tough year last year. Year before that, same. And, to have that, have a new coach come in, I've been there, going from Sherman to Sumlin. So, to have a new coach come in, if we can only mimic what we did with Sumlin when he came in, and I love Sherman to death, but the way we moved from basically transitioned from what we did that past year to a new coach coming in and setting the tone. I can tell you right now that all the seniors, we had a meeting, we got together, we said, hey, look, this is our year. We're not having another year like we had last year. So I think those guys can do it. It's just gonna take time, like always, but I think those guys can do it.
So I'm gonna follow that up because you played in a different era of college football, right?
Yeah.
Do you think seniors still have that voice based on the changes we've seen where freshmen are thrust into the starting lineup a little bit sooner than sometimes they're ready because of the transfer portal, because of NIL? Do you still think the senior voice is sometimes not the best player, but the most seasoned player that used to mean something? Does it still mean something?
Well, and I think you touched on it right there. The NIL is really exploded. And so, a senior – back in my day, a senior, you weren't getting paid. You weren't getting any of these deals or anything like that. You stood on what you said in the locker room and your performance on the field. And so, I only hope that as a senior going into this, whoever's a senior this year, going into their senior year
or third year starter, right? A junior, starter, right?
Anybody that's had that experience to just step up and be like, hey, look, we can't do this again. It's about having that mentality, setting those team meetings and trying to figure out, is this what you really want? I mean, do you want to be, 5-4 or 5-7, 4-7, 4-8? Do you want to do that this year, or do you want to be 10-2, 11-1? Perfect season.
So let me ask you, for somebody who's seen the different regimes, you saw it firsthand with Sherm, you saw it with Summy, right? You've watched with Jimbo. Why is there this initial okay, they figured it out, and then the drop off?
Yeah,
because that happened with Sherm, right? Sherm, 2010 was amazing, and then it was a drop off, and that's why Sumlin came in. Jimbo build 2020 season amazing, then the fall. Why do you think that has happened at A&M consistently?
I think, and I can't talk for the guys in the locker room, but I think there's a trust factor there, and that's why I think Elko really is the right guy for the job, because the way he had Duke trust him.
Yeah.
Those guys trusted him to, if they suffered a loss, then they bounced back the next week. I don't know what he said in the locker room. But as long as he brings that to the Aggie locker room, I think they'll be okay. But to answer your question, it's just the trust from the players to the coaches. You got to trust each other. You got to be a family. This game is, you got your family outside, but when you step on that field, your teammates, your coaches, that's your family. That's your sync right there. So they've just got to be able to sync together and be able to trust each other to make the right decisions, right plays, right coverages. It just all comes down to trust.
It sounds to me, and you basically have said it, but I just want to make sure I'm hearing it correctly. You've always been an Aggie, right? You knew day one.
Yeah. My family still gives me crap every now and then, but I was a Vince Young fan for years growing up, and
even down the road, right?
Even down the road, and I still am a Vince Young fan. He's a great guy, but once I stepped foot on, actually the 3-day camp I took that ended up getting me a scholarship. Once I stepped foot on that practice field, I knew I was at. And it's been that way since day one, since I stepped foot on the field. And the plan this year, I've got my little one now, so the plan is to show him that atmosphere,
right.
And be able to come to games, come to tailgates, start our family's tailgate back up again. And
you guys are going to be doing it? Okay.
Yeah. We're still. I don't think we're going to be over the railroads. I think we've moved our tailgate, but we'll be there. It'll be fun. Be able to kick the ball around with the little one a little bit, and my nephew and brother and sister, and just live the glory days.
Well, I want to talk about those glory days for another second, too, because we were talking about the Johnny doc that came out a year ago now. There's a new one, Steve McNair, that comes out, I think, next Tuesday that I really want to watch, the same producers. But not about Johnny here. I just want to talk about the era of Aggie football that you played in. These were some men that are still playing, by the way.
Yep.
You played with some legends, man.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Yeah, no, I think about it every day.
Vaughn
Miller, Mike Evans, Ryan Swopes, even though he's not playing, great. I mean, you talk about that was a senior group, junior/senior group.
Sean Porter, right?
They were, you had Sean Porter, Stephen Terrell, Stephen Campbell, Mike Evans. Vaughn had graduated, but we played with Vaughn. Ryan Tannehill. We had it was like there was no way we shouldn't have won a national championship that year.
Yeah.
But the key to all that was, once again, we had that meeting right before the season, and we had enough. We were done. We're not going out again with a losing record. There's a reason for the wrecking crew, and that defense stepped up and brought it back.
Did you cross paths with Gerard for one season, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You seen what he's doing at the NFL level?
Yeah, I do, man. Everybody.
That's a great group that you played with, man.
Yeah. Everybody is I was blessed. Let's just put it like that. I was blessed to come in the area I did, and be with those guys, play with those guys, get to know those guys and their families. It's one thing that I could never take away. Nobody could take that away.
Yeah. So as somebody who loves special teams, did it baffle you, the special team blunders we've seen the last couple of years? And also I don't know if you had a special teams coach in your day. I assume you did. But not having one, now we do. Patrick Doherty's their special teams coach. But did that used to just eat at you?
Yeah, no, we had Poland, Coach Poland.
That's right.
When I was there, and special teams is a big key and factor in a game. Not just defense, and not just offense. Special teams is really what sets that tone, and that's where, once again, we were a unit. We were one. So we practiced like we played 100%. I mean, I still remember on defense getting knocked out and having to be sent to the hospital in practice. So we practiced like we played, and we left no stones unturned on the field. It was, we knew what we were doing that next week to get the job done.
And you guys got the job done.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We did.
when you think about this defense with Coach Elko, not that for you to know all the names because there's a lot of change, but the secondary's been an issue the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It looks like they brought back their best pieces and they've added some really good pieces. So when you think about that being the Achilles of the defense last year, how good can this defense be if those guys live up to what we think they're going to be?
I think we're going to be good. Like I said, it all comes down to trust. Elko brought in the coaching staff that he trusts. Now, that coaching staff just needs to get those guys to trust him. And I think it can happen 100%. And it could happen the first year.
You started as a freshman?
I started as a freshman.
How hard was that?
It was extremely hard. Man, I had guys above me that ran a 4.340. Could cover out their butt. But the fact of the matter is that the coaches had trust in me to get the job done. Not because of my speed, not because of my techniques, but just because of my mindset. I wanted to start. I wanted to be on the field. Right. I didn't just play high school just to play high school. My end goal was the NFL. It didn't happen, but that was my end goal. It was to try to get to the NFL and make a name for myself. Well, I made a name for myself here at A&M in my eyes. And
absolutely.
That made the difference for me. And special teams was the reason for my name. So.
And then defensively, let's talk about that front line, right? That defensive line, because they were really good last year, but I think they could have been better. And now 100%. I think they're going to be better.
100%. That some of those games I watched and I'm just like, wow, how much talent we have right now is just like insane.
Right.
And then there was some key plays within the game that were just like, what are you doing? Why did you do that?
You mean having your defensive end cover a wide receiver?
Exactly. Why? And there's some mental mistakes, and you're going to have those, in which everybody's going to learn. You just got to take those mental mistakes, put them in the back like they never happened, and just go about your game. That's one thing that I had to get used to. My freshman year is I'd made a mistake and I get down on myself.
Yep.
But I had those teammates behind me that were like, "Hey, you got this." Pull me to the side. Take my helmet off, sit there face to face with me, grabbing me, yanking me, telling me, "Hey, get it out your head."
All right.
And we've got those cats here, on the football team. So they just got to, take the faith in each other and hold each other accountable. Pull them aside, slap them in the face a couple of times, get over it. It's done. It happened. Get back on the field. Let's make a play.
Before I let you go, how's the family? You got a little one, you were saying?
Yeah. I've got a he's 16 months old now.
What a blessing, man.
I got a little one there. They're great. I'm new to the little one, the little kid world now. So
test your patience, doesn't it?
It tests my patience. The good thing is he loves outside.
Yeah. And you love being outside.
I do. I've got my own hay business. KD Rent Services, and here, Anderson, Texas, surrounding counties. But every time I'm in the tractor, he's in the tractor.
Yeah.
Every time I'm on a horse, he's on a horse with me. So anytime I'm outside, he literally just cried and screamed because I left the house without him. So it's nice to be able to have somebody that wants to be with you 24/7. So hopefully that stays the same.
Look, I know every old person like myself has told you this before, and I know you will because you're a family man, but savor these moments. My oldest are 16, and I'm like, I just cry thinking about them graduating and leaving the house. So every moment is precious, man.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. My wife is amazing. She's not a stay-at-home mom. She works from the house, but she puts up with a lot between me and him, and me leaving stuff everywhere, him leaving stuff everywhere. She's doing good. She's hanging in there. We're good.
Come back soon, all right?
I will do.
Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's hit a break here. Before that, I want to talk about your Aggieland car wash tradition. You know who they are. Aggieland has the first green car wash. They recycle 100% of their water there at Aggieland Express Car Wash. You've got the original location on William D. Fitch and the brand new location there on Texas Avenue in College Station across from the Planet Fitness. You need to go. Either one is a great option, right? You can do your own cleaning when you go to both facilities. But when you go to the one there on Texas Avenue, they're going to do it for you if you want. You can have the full-service wash there. They have the best options out there, cleaning, the drying, the vacuum. They'll do it all for you, Armor All interior, and they'll do it under a completely covered patio so that your car is cool when you get back in it. And they're giving, for a limited time, the full-service option for half price. So it's normally $40, $20 if you tell them that I sent you by. I think you're going to love it. And we're going to give one away right now. One free car wash, 979-693-1150. The first person is going to get a $40 value for free if you call 979-693-1150. Is Aggieland Express Car Wash. All right, I'm just going to get straight to it. Gold medal winner. Joni Taylor's in the house. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good.
We used to be neighbors, so I used to see her all the time, and now I don't
know.
get to see you. You've kind of been busy this summer.
A little bit. Just
Yeah?
a little bit. Yeah.
How are things?
Great. Busy. Hectic, but that's how I like it. We've had
Yeah.
a great summer. We went on a foreign tour in June and
Mhm.
got back, went recruiting the first half of July, and then went with the USA team, and now we're gold medalists for the 8th consecutive time. So it's really incredible.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We were all watching and proud of you all. So I am just a little talk show host, right? And I thought this was a crazy off season, following what you all were doing, baseball,
Yeah.
But I just sit in a chair. You've been in like 29 time zones. How have you handled it?
A lot of coffee.
Yeah.
No, coming back home is always a little bit easier for some reason. My body adjusts a little bit better. I think it's back to normal, back to a routine. When I first go out of the country, it takes me a couple days to kind of get myself adjusted. I'm up all night. And then also, you're still having things to do back home. So you're still recruiting. You're still making phone calls. You're still talking to your family. So, I literally set an alarm for midnight to make a recruiting call that's like at 8 p.m. back here. So it takes longer to get adjusted. But overall, no complaints.
Well, I know that you like to run. Do you have to kind of look at it like running, like just put your head down and just one step at a time?
That's all you have to do. I literally wake up every morning and say, Lord, give me what I need for today.
Yeah.
And that's how I have to look at it, because if I do look at the entire month or even sometimes the entire week, it's too much. And so all right, what do I have to do today? And let today take care of itself.
How do you strategize there? Like, do you make a list? You prioritize, this is my today goal?
I have a calendar.
Yeah.
And so I wake up the night before, I look at everything that's on my calendar for the next day to make sure I'm prepared for whatever those things are. And then there's this app. I have no idea what it's called. Our assistants put it on my phone for me.
Yeah.
And it's like a little things to do, and it has tasks.
Yeah.
And so I just put it all in there, and I just check that constantly. And so that's how I can prioritize what I have to get done.
I have Google Keep. I don't know if it's that, but
I've never
it's
heard of
really
that.
good. Yeah. So that's what I use for me. But I may ask about yours. So let's go back and then work our way to where we are now.
Okay.
Talk about the tour. How was that? Just what an experience.
It was great. It was actually the first time we had done a foreign tour in June. Normally we do it in August when everybody's out of summer school, because it's really, really challenging to be in summer school and take a foreign tour. But obviously August wasn't going to happen this year because I was going to be in Paris. And so we chose to do it in June. It was great. We had an amazing time. I've been fortunate to be on several foreign tours, and I told our team when we got back, and I may get in trouble for saying this, but this was the best team that I've ever taken on a foreign tour.
Really?
Just their approach, their mindset. You're there for 10 days, and yes, we're in Rome, we're in Florence, we're in Sorrento, we're in all these great places, but by day 7 or 8, you kind of get that itch. I want regular food. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to see my family. And so they kind of get a little bit irritable. And I hate to say that, because what are we complaining about? We are in a foreign country, experiencing great things. But this group of young women were excellent. We also got to do a coaches clinic. That was the first time, not a coaches clinic, a kids clinic. It was the first time we'd had a chance to do that. And so to immerse ourselves in the community where we were in was really, really cool.
And do you think 18 to 22-year-olds can really appreciate, we're in freaking Rome?
I think it's hard.
Yeah.
I think even
they will later, though,
They
right?
will later. I think even in the moment when they think they appreciate it, I think they'll look back and have a greater appreciation, as we all do. I'll look back on this experience as much as I appreciate everything I'm able to do. I will look back on it later in my life and have even more appreciation for it.
So, I love trees now. When I was 18, I didn't care. I see trees, oh, that's so beautiful. I was but then you realize how beautiful things can be. All right, so that was a great experience. Does it tell you a lot, you think, about what this squad's going to look like?
Yes and no. I mean, we try not to take it too seriously. We're over there to experience the culture and to give them a new experience. We don't practice while we're there. We literally play 2 games. The competition is not great because it is the off season. So we don't go into that trying to dissect it too much, but what it allows us to do is practice, right? So we get to practice 10 days leading up to that, and it kind of gives us a little bit of a sneak peek into the identity of our team. And so I think in that area, it's very beneficial. And so it was really good for that and just for culture and team bonding always.
Let's talk about the Olympic experience, understanding that there's a bullseye on Team USA for obvious reasons, and also the most competition they have faced and also getting it done.
Right. I mean, the world is catching up, right? Women's basketball, we know the trajectory it's on. Just look at the viewers, look at all the names in our sport right now and what we're doing. But the thing I'll say is when it is an Olympic year or a qualifying year, other countries' players, if they are WNBA players, a lot of them don't go to the league that summer. They stay in their country and they practice with their national team. So every other country outside of the United States is practicing months leading up to the Olympic Games. We showed up in Phoenix on July 18th. We had a practice on the 19th. We played the WNBA All-Stars on the 20th, and that same night got on the plane, went to London, and the day later played Germany.
Right.
And so you're still trying to figure things out. So our talent, that speaks to, number one, how incredible our athletes are, our women are, and their ability to leave in the middle of a WNBA season where they've already had a huge grind and compartmentalize for 24 days, like the mission at hand.
Right.
And it also speaks to, I'll say this every time I can, not a machine, that's not the word I want to use, but the organizational structure and leadership from the top down with USA Basketball, because that is hard to do. It's really hard to do. But it was a great opportunity, great experience, but it is a whirlwind, an absolute whirlwind.
So can you pay attention to what's happening with the men and the other sports while you're there? I mean, because again, you're so focused on your task.
We followed it on the app.
Yeah.
And then so somebody was following track. We're watching it on the bus. We actually share a hotel with the men, so it's a lot easier to find out what they're doing because you see them every day. And they played the day before us, so it's pretty easy to track that. Not as easy this year in particular to actually go see another sport because it was so spread out. We were in Lille. I think soccer was 7 hours away. So very few things, especially at the beginning, were actually in Paris. And so it wasn't as easy to get to other events, but we definitely followed it.
You're an elite coach. Does this make you better? Like did you learn things from dealing with that level of talent and seeing other coaches the way they go about their business?
Well, I think every time I have an opportunity to be with USAB, I learn something, even at the junior national level, because you are playing the European game. You're playing their rules. And so it allows you to be creative in a different way. You still plays, you still thoughts, you get challenged. And so it's really, really great. What I take away from this experience with the national team, it's my second time being with them. I was also with them in 2022 in Australia. It's just how they are able to compartmentalize so many things. I mean, Breanna Stewart had her 2 kids there. Diana Taurasi had her 2 kids there. Nafisha Collier had her kid there. Chelsea Gray had her 5-month-old there. Brittany Griner and her wife just had a baby. Like they are doing so many incredible things while still going out and performing at a high level. So it was inspiring. And it also just the level at which they take care of themselves, from what they eat to how they recover to how they prepare. It is a reason why they are the best of the best.
Last thing for you, A&M. How this can be a fun year?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. I love our roster. I love the young ladies we have on our team. They're all out of town right now, taking a final break before we come back. We have a team meeting on Sunday. I was texting with them and chatting with them the whole time I was away, so I'm excited to see them and get started.
All right, I'm going to ask you something off air.
Okay.
Nothing bad, but there's a topic that comes up on this show every few days, and I don't want to upset some audience, but I'm going to ask you because I think I know your answer.
Okay.
MJ. But I'm gonna ask you off air, all right?
Fair enough.
All right, Joni Taylor here. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with Jamie Morrison next on TexAgs Radio. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. So I get a little excited because we had a great debate. Team MJ won. I'm just saying. Our next guest loves basketball, but he also loves volleyball, and he's also a gold medal winner. Jamie Morrison in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm so happy to be back. This actually feels like the official start to season now,
Doesn't
now
it?
that we're doing this again.
So it's funny, like, we've only known each other a year. We got super close last year. It's fun to see your growth with the program, watch the program grow, and it's all here now.
Yeah. I think every year has its new beginnings, and people are asking outside, like, how do you feel about the season? And I'm like, excited, nervous, those two things combined, whatever that word is. But you think you have the right combination of people and athletes and these things, but the awesome thing about sport is you get to go test that out in the field of battle. And we get that coming up in a few weeks here.
So a year ago, right around this time, if I remember correctly, you were like, I feel good about this team. Like, I think we're going to have to prove some things, but I feel good.
Yeah.
How do you feel today?
Similar. And I think whenever I always talk to our athletes about this, but like talent takes time, and people tell me one of the program, like, it takes time, and patience is not one of my virtues. Mm-hmm. I like to force a square peg into a round hole and make sure we win in some way, shape, or form. But I think we have the right people that are here. I think we have the right volleyball players that are here. Practice continues to get better every single day right now. We're doing the right things. We're working the right way. And I'm excited to see what happens. And again, the cool thing is that we get to step out on the floor and see that.
The U19 experience, you've been doing it for several years now. Is it 4 years?
Yeah, 4 or 5. I can't remember.
4 or
I
5.
lost count.
So how do you say it? The Norica Girls Continental? Norsica. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Norsica. Talk a little bit about that, because it looks like you guys, you beat my team. Not really my team because they're communists, but you beat Cuba 3-0. You defeated Canada 3-0. Puerto Rico 3-0. Then you defeated Puerto Rico again and beat Canada 3-1.
Yeah. I think traditionally in that, like, the pools are pretty evenly balanced, and you get a chance to, warm up and then get into this thing. And somehow, like, the teams that finished gold, silver, bronze were all in the same pool. And it was awesome competition. And I tell the girls whenever I go in there, my job isn't to go in there and get a gold medal. My job is to prepare them for day one of what it looks like on the national team. And I thought that group did a good job of dialing into that, of being great representatives of USA. Probably, in some ways I stopped them like 15 times and just said thank you to doing this to the nth degree. Like, they were very considerate of people around them. They were passionate about what they were doing. They were very prideful of getting to wear the flag on their chest, and they did it right.
I asked Joni, I'll ask you. You've got a lot of experience with Team USA, but, like, how do you grow as a coach for this particular job because of that?
I think for me, each of those is my chance to start sharpen the sword, because you only get 10 days to prepare a team to go compete internationally.
That's be hard.
Yeah, and you have to dial into, like, hey, these are the things that are truly important, and then throw away the things that aren't. And it just reaffirms that every single year. And most of the time, coaches get a season rep that takes a year, and I get a season rep that takes 20 days, and I get to do it 2 or 3 times a year with some of those other groups too. And for me, over the summer, I get to play around with different ways to teach the game, and I get to do it 4 times, and then I get to come back here and be like, that's the one that worked, and we're going to do that. So for me, it's reps at doing this, and coaching is just like playing, and it takes reps, and it's different than playing. It takes reps to get great at it. And for me, it's my chance to go experiment a little bit, to play around, to learn, to see what athletes resonate with, and then bring that back here.
How hard is it to work on that gig? But also, there's some work being done over here too.
Yeah, I talked to our team actually yesterday, and one of my superpowers / deficiencies is, like, when we're here, I'm here. Something else is going on. It's not necessarily there. And I was gone a lot this summer, and we just talked about this idea of 51-49, that when we're making decisions about this thing, it's okay to be not completely in. Like, if you want to go out and eat unhealthy, that's a normal thing that happens. Right. But if this is truly your priority, like, you make the decision that I'm going to eat healthy. I just said my 51 was somewhere else for 2-3 weeks, and for that I apologize. So it's hard. But it's rewarding, and I do think it benefits us. Again, it makes me a better volleyball coach. So yeah, difficult, but I will say this: I have, I think, one of the best staffs in the country, and that's the reason why I'm able to do this. So I'll publicly say it. I say it to them all the time privately, but just a lot of gratitude that I have the right people that allow me to go do that.
What can you tell me about this roster?
Yeah, we got 6 additions. We got some outside hitters and a freshman, and Amari Hernandez, who came in, and just awesome story. We actually found her at camp. And I had somebody say, hey, there's this great human being that just checked in. She looks athletic. And then it turned into, no, she is athletic. And then it was like, hey, you need to come look at this. And turned out into all of those, just an amazing human being. We were kind of sharing life stories the other day, and I just had a moment of gratitude that, man, I'm happy you chose to come here. But just extremely athletic. And I don't think, I had a conversation with her, so I'm okay saying this out loud. Like, I don't think she fully realizes how good she can be. But it's going to develop into something special. Emily Helmuth came to us from Pepperdine, 6'3" outside hitter. And just, again, we're getting more and more athletic as time goes on here, but ability to play the game and a heavy arm and is going to add value to what we're doing. And then Taylor Humphrey came to us from Rutgers. Again, adding some height, 6'3", but ability to play the game. Just when we were watching video, just the ability to pass the rock was pretty special in terms of what we saw there. Couple libero DSs. Ellie Stinson came to us from Northwestern. Adds some experience too, 5th year, and ability to pass the rock. And I would say defense is a superpower. Just when we were watching video, ability to get close and create some angles and do some stuff. Tatum Thomas, I was talking to our strength coach, and he's like, very rarely do you have somebody that's played libero. Like all 3 of them have. Came to us from Grand Canyon, and just defensive motor. I think people will be excited to see that piece of it. She just gets after it. And then Maddie Walk, setter, came to us from LSU, and just ability to run the offense, and just really, really talented as a volleyball player. And she gets it done, and she finds ways to win. So excited about the additions. And then we got the people that have been here. I think people should hopefully have familiar names there that they're used to, but I think the additions are a cool piece of it that are going to add to what we're doing.
And those returners already know the system.
Oh, for sure.
You know, you're a year ahead with all of them. Talk a little bit about how important that is here in year 2.
Yeah, I think I think one of the things that I find with teams is once you have an example of what it should look like, and I think this is culture and volleyball, like people come in and they just pick up on things like this. And I think that's the awesome thing is I can get through some of the nuances of the offense a little bit faster because they have people to help them along the way. We can move on to some of the more complicated things in the game. So I think that's a huge piece. And then culturally, like, hey, this is how we should act. There's a model of it now. And that's going on as well. So I think people are picking up on things faster. I think we're in a better spot right now. I think as a coach, you're always pushing for more. I remember our day 4 of practice was really the first day we kind of played full 6s, and I'm like, ooh. And I'm like, this is a lot cleaner than last year's day 1. So I'm, again, excited about what happens, and we get to see that.
And let's talk a little bit about this weekend. You pumped to showcase the team? Yeah, we get a maroon white, and it's fun to get them out there. And I always tell athletes it's always different when you put a uniform on. So I'm just excited to step them out there and then head up to Baylor. And the next step of it is it's always different when you put somebody in a different uniform on the other side of the net. So I'm just excited. Like I'm a different form of competitive where I want to be the best in the world at what I do. And every single time we step out there is my chance to see it. So it's not nervousness for me. It's like, hey, let's see what's happening. And if it's not completely, working yet, let's get back into the laboratory and go fix it a little bit. So excited for the world to get to see the work that got put in this spring. I think our athletes in summer. I think our athletes pushed themselves. They got better. I came back from U19s and stepped in, and they were demoing some stuff for camp. And I'm like, ooh, man, we're a lot better at volleyball. Yeah. So excited to see what it looks like, and excited for the world to see that too. Did I read your first SEC games against Texas?
Oh, yeah. That little thing, that other school in Texas. September 27th. If I had done my math right, I think we're the first team to play them in the SEC. So there's 13,146 seats at Reed.
Fill that bad boy up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and just talk about that in USCC. It's already a grind. Yeah. It becomes a little bit more difficult now, too.
It becomes a little bit more difficult. And I took the job. When I took this, I saw what was coming. I saw Texas coming in, and Oklahoma is much improved from what they were last year also. But adding them just adds credibility. And 3 out of the last 4 national champions have come from now the SEC, 2 from Texas, 1 from Kentucky. And when I took this job and literally just had a meeting with the SEC head coaches yesterday, like one of my main goals is to turn the SEC into the best volleyball conference in the country. And in my opinion, right now, it's number 1A and 1B in terms of the Big Ten. But I want to push that. We have the coaches here, we have the players here, we have the programs here now, and there's been a lot of people that care. ESPN's on board in terms of trying to promote our sport. I want this to be the volleyball conference. I want it to be the place that everyone knows in the country that you're grinding every single day. And again, I said it last year, like I thought 1 to whatever it was last year, 14 was really, really good. And then we're adding these 2 other programs that are going to add to this. And then Vanderbilt next year pops in. So I'm excited for what's coming in the long-term future. But, yeah, it's going to be a grind this year.
Jamie, for you, has it last year you were the new kid, right?
Yeah.
Does it feel like my voice means something? And you've proven it, and you've been here. There's new guys in there, too. It's not that new voice anymore.
Yeah. Are you talking about players?
No,
SEC?
just around the SEC when your voice
I think
matters.
so. I don't hide my voice very often. So I think even the first time I went to that meeting, there wasn't a lot of pushing towards that. And like I said, I'm not patient. And I really, truly believe the SEC can be the best volleyball conference in the country. And it's going to take a concerted effort by everybody in that room. So I think we're getting some more unity there. Yeah. And I think that's a positive thing. And I think we're pushing in that direction.
Last thing for you. Do you think about the future of volleyball in this conference with what's potentially ahead? Do you or do you just stay in the right now?
I think it has to be a combination of the two.
Yeah.
I just think if you were to, ask any coach what it feels like right now, it feels like you're sprinting, but the ground beneath you is changing with every single step of college athletics and all the changes that are going on. So I don't think you can be too forward thinking right now. You got to stay nimble in it. But you can have some plans for, where I want volleyball to sit from a popularity standpoint. Yeah, I got a vision there, and we're trying to work towards that. In terms of how we manage a roster, I think that has to be, hey, I'll figure out what Thursday looks like on Wednesday, and then see what happens then. So I think it has to be this combination of the two right now.
And maybe an AD that's like, yeah, you know what? Why not Caulfield, right?
Yeah. He did that somewhere else, so let's do that here.
Hey, man, I've missed you, brother. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
We'll talk to you next week. All right,
man.
Heritage Films time. That is Chance McClain's company. The website is yourheritagefilm.com. They make documentary films about families, family businesses, family ranches, you name it. They love to tell your family story in a 2-hour documentary form. You don't have to be a celebrity like Jamie Morrison to get a documentary done. Gold medal winner Joni Taylor as well, right? You can be just a normal guy right down the road who likes to tell his family story about how your family business got started, how your dad moved to this country and met your mom. Whatever the story may be, Chance is the best at telling that story. It's about the 8 to 10 week process, but he'll go to your house, he'll light it up, he'll ask the questions, he'll get the pictures and the video to match the story, and he'll put it together, and you're like watching a Netflix documentary, a BBC, whatever it may be. He is the very best at doing that. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341. That's 713-893-8341 is Heritage Films. All right, TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studios. Time to end the day with Double Daves. Caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984. They have your favorite pizza. They have your favorite world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. I think I made a mistake, Luke. My heart's about to explode from my chest like OB drinking one of his energy drinks. I typically have a decaf during the show because I don't like to have too much caffeine, but I like the warm drink experience. Fairly sure I put in a caffeinated coffee. I can feel it.
That might be bad. Is that why you keep running to the bathroom between every segment?
I've gone to the bathroom once in an hour and a half.
Don't lie to the people, David.
I'm telling the truth.
Don't lie to the people. We can pull up the security cam footage.
I hope you do.
The moment he says you're listening to TexAgs Radio, boom, he's out of the studio and running to the bathroom. As a matter of fact, I saw him cut one of the interns off. One of the interns was about to go to the bathroom, and he cut him off. He was like, no, let me get in there. Went in. A lot of strange noises were coming out of that bathroom. Then he ran back out here. So that's your live TexAgs report. Don't believe what David Nuño is saying.
Anytime you ramble like that, it's a lie. I've noticed that about
No.
you. Like when you, it's not what happened. And by the way, if you watch other men's bathroom habits, we got to discuss this, okay?
You might have gotten me. You might have gotten me there.
You know I love you.
I heard that was that a breaking news report from Luke Evangelis?
God, we lost every listener.
Oh gosh, not Richard.
Sorry, Louie.
Everything Luke Evangelis says is fake news.
Well, this is true. Poor Louie Bellina, had a great lead-in with Joni, with Dustin, and with Jamie. And then this guy, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, drops that on the air. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for TexAgs Radio on a Thursday. Tomorrow on the show, I know we have Billy Lucci. I know we have Olin Buchanan. The rest of the show, TBD. But I think it'll be great. We'll see you mañana.